Do you guys bite your fingernails?
No.
Absolutely not.
It's the most, I find it to be one of the most disgusting things, dude. Like, I don't know.
I think you're right to find that.
Thank you.
Yep.
It's like a big anxiety tick.
Yeah.
Super anxious people do that.
And all right, and then these motherfuckers that I work with, some of the older gentlemen, they cut their fingernails at work.
Oh,
and I'm like,
man.
what the fuck, you fucking savages?
Oh,
like,
man.
do
There's
you
a
do
guy
that
I
shit
worked
at
with
home,
that
dude.
did that. That was the worst.
Like, come on. I walked in one time and there was like a fingernail on my chair.
Jesus.
That's not good at all.
Come on.
I'm revolted by my own cut fingernails in my own bathroom, let alone in a fucking public spot.
Yeah, it's fucking gross. All right. Welcome back to the show, whoever's listening. We got with us two of my good pals. Full disclosure, we play in a band together.
No collusion.
We got with us the master of the synthesizer and the master of the whiskey.
I guess. I don't know.
Not you. I'm not talking about you.
Oh, okay, good. I don't know anything.
Mr. Michael Nolen. And the master of the guitar and the master of masturbation. Mr. Chas Millican is here with us.
Thank you. That's a badge I wear proudly.
Yeah, you should. And together we are...
Hey.
Yeah,
I
wearing
didn't
the shirt.
Yeah.
Shameless self-promotion. You got to
Long after midnight, I fucking took a nap earlier. I'm not gonna lie. And I got up, and it was on top of the stack, and I was like, all right, that's fucking. I gotta sport it.
That's cool.
That's a good shirt. You made these shirts, didn't you? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I designed it.
Yeah. You
Sorta.
used my stuff, and then
Yeah, I took your stuff and I arranged it in a way that I liked, I guess.
All right, so we usually start the show with like a random ass question, all right? And since it's Halloween-ish or whatever, and I was thinking about this for another reason. What do you guys think is the scariest album record like ever made? The scariest album ever made.
Good question.
Uh-huh.
Good
The
question.
scariest.
Yeah.
Like scary, like it was recorded on a potato, or
I don't know. I guess
like it
whatever you
sounds
want.
like shit. It's terrifying that they spent money on it.
whatever's scary.
I think as far as like evil sounds go, like things that sound straight up evil, like Opeth's really good at that sound.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cradle of Filth is pretty good at that sound, even though they're like
Right.
super busy. Opeth is not as busy, but they're very dark, and they kind of have like, sounds like Satan is straight up singing this song.
Well, especially the early Opeth stuff can be really fucking scary.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I'm horrified to listen to anything by Imagine Dragons, but for a very, very different reason. Yeah.
That checks out.
Indeed. You got an answer there, Mr. fucking industrial guy?
When I was like 15 and it first came out, Antichrist Superstar was the creepiest, scariest shit I ever saw. Like, because it had the whole aesthetic, all these weird ass pictures,
Yep.
everything.
Yeah.
And you're like, what the fuck's going on with this? Is this guy really into Satan? Is he killing people and
Made
hiding
a
them?
career out of being creepy.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
So that was going to be my, not that one. What's the one before that? Smells Like Children or whatever? The EP, the Maron Manson EP. I was in like, we must have been in like 6th grade or something right around then, or whenever that came out, you know, and that shit was fucking terrifying. I remember being in my basement playing that shit with the lights off, and because there was all these like circus interludes and shit. You remember that record? There's only like 4 songs. It's like EP, and it's got the Sweet Dreams cover, and then like a couple other songs, and then there's a bunch of that. And that shit was fucking scary.
Right, because
sure.
it reminds you of like a clown or something.
Yeah,
right?
it's all like those interludes are all fucking that crazy fucking
Jeffrey
zombie
Epstein's
videos.
got that Smells Like Children album that he put out a few years back too. Yeah, pretty creepy.
That Sweet Dreams video was insane.
Yeah.
You remember that? That was crazy.
Yeah, all that shit. Did you guys ever see Manson live?
Nope.
I saw him once. It was the first night of the, the Mechanical Animals tour.
Oh,
and it was at the.
I like that record.
It was at the Fillmore out in Detroit when it was the State Theater still or whatever, and it was not good. They had it during I don't like the drugs or whatever. There's like the big light up with the light bulbs, drugs on the back of skate, but the S was burned out. So this is drug.
What are you, a Walgreens? When is this?
That was a few albums in, right? Like
that was like album 3 or 4 or
something.
Okay. Before I go off on Marilyn Manson, you got an answer to the question, you think?
2 answers. Opeth, I think, is a huge call, man.
Yeah.
Ghost Reveries was the first thing. Well, actually, the second thing that came to mind, like that specific album.
That album's also sad, though. Is it scary? Like, I guess, I don't know, The Conjuring, The Grand Conjuration and all that.
Yeah.
The earlier Opeth is a little more scary.
Early Opeth is, especially when they do the soft stuff, the really soft stuff, but it's so creepy sounding.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Like Ghost of Perdition, Bang of the Hounds. I don't know. It's just an intense album. But
that's a great album.
it's like top 5 albums of all time for all of us, I think.
White Zombie's got to be up there, kind of. Like, I don't know, it's a
no.
little bit of a fringe answer, but some fucking White Zombie, Astro Creep 2000 is pretty intense.
That is, that's also a masterpiece in fucking every
I
way.
maintain, like, probably not technically speaking, but that's like the heaviest album to me. I know there's like obviously far technically heavier shit out there, but when you throw that album on, it's just like
Creature of the Wheel, maybe one of the heaviest songs ever made. That riff, you guys know that song, Creature of the Wheel?
I don't.
It's like track 6 or 7 on that, and it's just this fucking riff that's just unbelievable. Like because it's super simple, but it's just so fucking heavy as fuck. Yeah, it's just simple. My other answer is I was telling you, and we talked about it last week, I've been on this fucking huge Mars Volta kick again because Mars Volta's back. And I think one of the scariest albums ever made is Francis the Mute by the Mars Volta.
That's and
it's what made me actually think about this question. It's my personal favorite Volta album, as much as I love all their albums. I'm obsessive about them. I listened to it the other night in bed. Like with the lights off. I'd listened to like the first couple tracks and I went to bed and I was still listening to it and I'm fucking high as shit and I'm listening to it and I'm just like, this is fucking terrifying. This record, there's so much soundscaping and shit on that album.
That last track, that whole there was a frail syrup dripping off a lap dance lapel.
It's all those effects on the vocals and shit. It's a fucking scary record. I thought you were gonna have maybe some fucking crazier answers with some fucking random ass German fucking industrial band or something.
All right, I'll give you 2. All right. My friend Michael Eidhall, he's out of Sweden, and he calls his genre seance tronica.
Okay.
He's a wizard. And he does magic, and it's just very like rhythmic, tribal.
Yeah.
Like
scary.
He's got like this super deep voice that sounds like the narrator for like Diablo and shit. Okay. And he's just like a lot of talking and stuff over that. He does some pretty scary shit. Really good for the Halloween mood.
Right.
But there existed an addiction to blood by clipping.
I've never heard of any of that.
Oh, you got to hear that album.
Some deep cut shit.
Clipping is funny enough. The dude was in Hamilton as one of the people.
Interesting.
Like he's an actor and shit too, but he's also a rapper. And it's like a lot of hip hop and noise music.
Okay.
Like crossover and horror themed, and it's pretty fucking creepy. That's the first album, and then there's another one after that that's kind of like a follow-up continuing the theme.
Gotcha.
And it's pretty great.
Gotcha. You know what some scary shit is? The Doom soundtrack. We were talking about that recently too. The various ones, and like I've been really pumping that one. What's the guy's name? The one
Mick Gordon.
Yeah, which is more like kind of metal one, but the one to Doom 3, which I can only find on YouTube, but it's heavy as shit, but there's no guitar, it's only synth or whatever. Man, that's some fucking wild shit too. Jesus Christ, that shit's out of control. And then there's of course the Monster Mash. Maybe.
I'm trying to look it up. There was one 9 Inch Nails album that I can't remember the name of that was real fucking creepy as well.
A lot of those earlier.
All of them.
Yeah, remix, some of those remixes and shit from the 9 Inch Nails shit. It's pretty fun.
I also just had a thought. There's a song that one of my buddies shared with me, And I mean, scary. Instead of scary, you might just call it creepy.
Yeah,
it's the band called Tiger Lillys.
Okay, I know.
They have a song called "Banging in the Nails."
Ooh,
and it sounds it's like kind of quirky and kind of funny, but it's also like kind of just like creepy, like it creeps you out. It just makes me feel very uneasy.
Yeah, it makes you feel uncomfortable.
And the video, they have a little video for it too, and it's pretty creepy.
Nice. Tiger Lillys?
Tiger Lillys.
Yeah, I remember
in the nails.
Okay, I've seen some of that shit or something, but I don't remember. It's been a few years.
Yeah.
I know that.
It's a really disarming name for a creepy album.
Yes,
Tiger
exactly.
Lillys, you know?
Oh yeah, that's the bait. And if you take the bait, then then you get creeped out.
Well, there's some of those fucking guys who are making songs where they take like 911 calls of fucking people that have been killed and shit, and they fucking put them, they're mixing and it's all EDM, crazy, creepy shit and whatever. Like, that's some fucking.
So there were snuff films, now there's snuff songs.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, yeah. Some girl getting killed while she's fucking on 911, and they take that shit and put it in the fucking track and shit.
Damn.
Yeah.
What's that movie? That Nick Cage movie, 8mm? You ever seen that? It's
man.
about that whole stuff.
Man.
With Tony Soprano. Is in it.
Oh shit!
Oh,
I haven't
really?
seen that in a hot
Yeah.
minute. Okay.
Yeah, that's a great
Yes,
fucking
I
movie.
do
It's a
remember
fucked up
that movie. Yeah,
Yeah.
I remember that movie.
Nick Cage has got things equally far on either side of the spectrum of
He
being like
does.
the worst shit ever, and then like adaptation and a handful of other flicks are like super badass movies. You know?
Yeah.
He's done it all.
I mean, yeah. Indeed. So, what you got any thoughts on? I'm going to change the subject a little bit because you were talking about Opeth. So, you a pretty big Opeth fan?
I was for a time, yeah.
Okay, well, that might answer the question. What do you think of the new Opeth?
Right. Haven't really paid attention.
The newer Opeth.
I haven't been paying attention. Actually, Ghost Reveries and the one right after that, I think it's called Watershed.
Yeah.
Were the ones that they're the last ones that I was really into them for. I started getting involved in my own, original music projects, and I stopped kind of searching for new music and got really involved in original music.
Yeah. It's actually kind of the same. It was right around that time, but Ghost Reveries was so fucking influential for everything that I was trying to do.
Yeah.
But there's the break in their whole career after Watershed where they changed direction basically completely.
Yeah.
Did they put Heritage out right after that, or was there one in between there too?
Was there one called Sorcerer or Sorceress?
Sorceress, I think. Heritage, I think, is next, and there's I'm actually not totally. There's Pale Communion, which is there's like 5 albums.
Yeah,
since
they've kept going, but you're right.
Going.
After Watershed, there was a big sort of hiatus.
And I'm still a fan. I've seen them several times. I actually just saw them recently. It was one of the last concerts I saw was Opeth and Mastodon.
Right on.
I'm still a fan, you know, but like, it's definitely not like, to me, the production value. So the guy that made those records, Ghost Reveries and Watershed, his name is Jens Bogren, and he's a Swedish producer. And he mastered the first Long After Midnight shit, or his studio.
No kidding.
But he mixed one of my records, and they've mastered almost all of my stuff.
Oh, cool.
And part of that's because of those records. I think Ghost Reveries is one of the best productions.
Nice.
And Watershed's actually quite a bit different, but it's the same team. And part of that too is because it's a different drummer.
I was gonna say, a different drummer, different drum gear, and a different room can make a big overall difference on a whole album.
And I guess they argued a lot about the drums on Ghost Reveries, but I don't know. Then like Jens has said, and he's like, I'm not a big fan of the drum sound on that, and I'm like, that's my favorite drum sound, dude.
Man.
I'm like,
yeah.
But that record, when you talk about like flawless records from front to back that are just flawless, you know, that's one of them.
You could just put on track 1, don't touch it all the way to the
end.
And
it ends the ending, and just like, oh my god, dude, everything about that fucking album is unbelievable.
Yeah, that's a good one.
What are you guys listening to right now? Any new shit popping up on your radar or whatever?
Well, I've gotten into Haken in the past year or so. Or do you say it Haken?
Haken. Yeah, I think so. That's all I said. I don't know. Yeah.
I'm such a noob. But yeah, I've just recently discovered them, a little late to the game, but I am really into it.
Nice. And you sent me, what's the name of that pop record that
So Below.
Dude, I love that album.
I've been listening to that on repeat for
it's fucking great.
Months.
Yeah. It's just that girl or whatever. I mean, it's like her and all producer or various producers or something, it looks like. But
it just popped up on a Spotify playlist. For my wife, just like some radio shit that like, here's a bunch of songs that are the same type of style. And
yeah.
like I heard it a couple of times and it stuck in my head, and then I had to go look it up, and then I listened to the whole thing, and I listened to everything they had, and I'm like, I can't buy any of this on vinyl. This fucking sucks.
Any of that dark pop though, dude. That's
it's fun.
Yeah. Fucking love that shit.
What was the
what are you listening to? You listening to anything new?
Not a ton, man. I got down that Volta a little bit. I got to get back on that train, man. That Porcupine Tree, I kind of been bumped that as far as
that new Porcupine Tree.
Yeah. Yep. I've actually been going back the other direction. I booted up this playlist. I got on this huge hip hop kick a couple years back. Like didn't listen to rap for a very long time outside of a couple select things, but I got this whole playlist of just bangers, man. This one-hit wonders, all kinds of random shit. So kind of throwing it back old school the other direction.
Are you guys fans of the Mars Volta? Because that new record, again, I know I was talking to you about it already, but their new record I think is amazing, and we talked about it a couple episodes ago. It definitely takes some time, which all Mars Volta records do, but it's also because it's so different from what they used to do. It's essentially like 3.5 minute like pop songs, quote unquote, you could say, where they used to be 25 minute, just the fucking craziest prog rock noise, Okay. So it's taken me a little bit, and now I absolutely fucking love it, and I've just been playing the fucking shit out of that a lot. But there's some rapper that I've been fucking into too, and I gotta look him up real quick.
I was gonna ask what's up on your docket, man. Usually I get my music recs from you and kind of
you guys
piggyback off your blood, sweat, and tears figure, wading through the bullshit.
What's good, man? What's good?
You guys ever listen to the rapper Danny Brown?
Yeah,
he's been around for a while, but like he's got that crazy voice,
Yeah,
like, I went down a couple of his records, that's pretty good shit. I like the fact that he's just fucking out of control,
He's got a video for one of his last records. It was just super fucked up, where it's like this sitcom where he's like in the sitcom, but then he's like murdering the whole family and shit. It's like all bloody and everything. Then it's shiny and happy, and there's blood everywhere. And
I'll allow that.
Yeah,
sweet.
Was that the dude that rapper that was on the Schultz podcast?
Yeah, I heard about him. Yeah, he was just on
he does stand up and shit too.
He's just getting into it or something too, and I thought he was pretty funny. I was like, all right, I gotta check this fucking cat out.
Yeah, guy was pretty out of control, man.
He's got a lot of guest spots on like fucking ASAP Rocky tunes and like a lot of shit like that. Do you guys know who Saul Williams is?
Oh, I love Saul Williams.
All right, yeah. So I was thinking about him because the first time I saw the Mars Volta, he opened for the Mars Volta.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, in Chicago, and it was fucking out of control because he's just spoken word. It's like, I don't know, it's like beat poetry,
right,
kind of hip hop, kind of, just like poetry, whatever.
Yeah.
And so he just comes out and he was promoting this record, and I remember it's his spoken word. It was called Said the Shotgun to the Head. What's the name of the album? And we went and saw it. I was with Evans, and we went out there and fucking watched this shit. We were just like, who the fuck is this guy? He ended up doing a bunch of work with Trent Reznor, I think.
Oh, yeah.
The
Guitar Dust. That was a great album.
Yeah. Yeah, that shit was out of control, man. That's one of the fucking... the first time I saw the Mars Volta was one of the biggest tragedies that ever happened to me in my life. We go to see the Mars Volta, and it's in Chicago. We park like 1,000,000 miles away. We walk over there. It's in a fucking not great part of town. We're like 18, and we roll in. We get there, whatever. Saul Williams plays. It's fucking great. Or the Mars Volta comes out, and my buddy has the joint in his hand, and he lights it. And we were in it was one of these tiered venues with it's got levels, and we were on the front of the second tier. And somebody with their hand or something knocked the joint out of his hand.
Ooh.
And it went down below into the other section.
Some hippie down there just bonus.
Right. Just before the Volta went. We actually looked for it after the... This is in the day when it was swag. Bunch of swag weed, But right before the Volta came on.
That's a bad time on that, dude. You got to be nice and roasted before you catch a Volta. What a bummer that must have been.
They were still unbelievable. That was right after that album, their first album dropped, so it was super early.
It's one of those real slow motion,
yeah, dude, exactly.
I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's so bummer.
Then we had to buy hoodies for $60 because it was freezing cold and we weren't wearing coats or anything. And so we bought the hoodies, and then that son of a bitch stole his girlfriend, like years later, like stole my Volta hoodie, my deloused in the comatorium.
That would be a huge get right now.
I never, it's long gone. I'm fucking pissed about it still. Holding all kinds of grudges about that.
Gotta track that shit down.
Well, the thing is too, is I bought him the hoodie, like, because he didn't have any money, and we were like literally gonna freeze to death.
Oh man, yeah, that's a fucking kick to the stones right there. Dude, that deloused hoodie going down. Ooh,
man.
It was an ill-fated show from the get-go by the sounds of things. Losing the joint, getting that hoodie ripped.
No, it was huge. It was huge. I fucking love that band. I've been super, super into them again.
It's my one of my two favorite bands, and I only saw them once, and they were the opening act in that kind of short, like 45-minute-ish set or whatever it was.
We saw them with
They opened for System of a
System,
Down. It was surprisingly sweet. I only had heard them on SNL, and I was like, oh, they're just bad live. And I was at a soft spot for System for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But they fucking rocked it out of that show. Well, they were doing the videotaping there. So
that's right.
It's really on point.
They were on their game.
They had the video cranes up on the side, and whatever.
Yeah.
That shit was fucking.
So they were on their game.
You guys Surge and the boys getting it done.
Right.
I only saw them once at Ozfest, and this is like probably 06, 07 at DTE. They were bad, man.
Yeah, they don't have a great reputation.
They were bad, especially the guitar player. I understand he's been through some things, but he was basically like sinking it for them.
Ooh, yeah. Nah, he stinks.
Yeah.
Darren, what's his name? Darren.
Yeah, Darren Malakian. Yeah, something.
You a System of a Down fan, Mike?
I liked him at the time, but it got old.
You were fucking into it.
Whatever. I was into the early stuff.
Oh, no, I was way into that. The first and second album, I was way into it. Like, I played that second album.
I remember when they blew up. What was that? Hypnotize and the other one?
Yeah, after the second album,
that was probably them at their peak.
Was that their first really big song?
I remember the song Sugar.
Oh, Sugar. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And Toxicity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They had a nice little run there for a minute, man.
Right. That's when I was into him, too.
It was a GRD staple for a hot year and a half there, to be sure.
You remember the Steal This album? You guys remember that? The B-sides with pepperoni, olives, and green olives or whatever. You remember that shit?
I don't remember that one. I do remember the album.
It's one of their songs that he just did like dummy words, but it was all pizza toppings. The entire thing is fucking.
I remember
hilarious.
they put it out and there was like no booklet or anything on the CD. It was just empty.
Steal this album, which is huge.
It got leaks. They were like, "Fuck you guys, here, just take it."
He was or is doing a bunch of solo stuff.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know if that's still a thing.
I think he's still up to something.
Tarkanian.
Yeah. He's coming into the podcast.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
Some of his solo stuff was decent.
Talk about it.
It was like,
I had
his very System of a Down. It wasn't bad.
I had his first one. I don't remember what the fuck it was called or whatever, but I had that record on CD. Must have been getting down to when CDs were not really being a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself, bro. I'm still rocking those CDs.
I still got a visor in my back seat.
Oh, as do I. You gotta have it, man.
I was rocking mine. My shit got stolen. My whole book.
Oh, wow.
And I had just, I'd gotten for Christmas, a much bigger CD book. So I put like all my other fucking CD collection in there. And then like a month later, that shit got stolen out of my car. And that was it for me. I couldn't go back. I ended up switching to the iPod at that time. But I'm like, these fucking, it was some fucking like 14-year-old fucking asshole kids, just being asshole kids, and they're ending up with this collection of obscure prog rock records, Geddy Lee solo albums and shit. Like, you motherfuckers ain't listening to this.
Right, and they're like half our age. Are we supposed to believe that they're listening to CDs?
Indeed. You guys, like, what are you selling this shit?
What are you going to do with those CDs?
Kid walked away and pitched it 5 seconds later.
Yeah, exactly.
Who the fuck is Hum? Trash.
I'm going to practice my disc golf.
And I fucking, I got nothing. This shit, what is this, dude? Jesus Christ.
Good whiskey.
It is. Strong.
It's aged in Scotch barrels, right? If I'm remembering that correctly.
Isla Scotch barrels, so it's like the really peaty, smoky shit.
Yeah, okay.
That's where it's at.
Yeah, I was telling these guys when we were at dinner, like, Mike's made some fucking drinks. Like, fucking roll over there. You're making shit with coffee coffee liqueur.
What's your? Are you primarily a whiskey guy? You said earlier, or kind of switch it up a little bit. What's your What's your go-to whiskey cocktail?
Old fashioned.
Yeah. Yep.
But I make a specific kind of old fashioned. I saw the recipe on a YouTube channel of some bartender guy that I follow
on Pinterest,
and sure. but it's it's the Angostura bitters and the bourbon, but then you do a half ounce of orange curacao.
Oh yeah,
and you don't put any sweetener in it, so it's a lot drier. I'll put in like a tiny bit of like agave syrup or something like that.
I was doing a
little bit, but
sorry, man.
Oh no! I like it like not super sweet, so it works out.
I was doing a half-ass version where I got like the orange Angostura bitters and kind of
I'll do that too.
I'm heavy on the bitters. I'm a big give me 2-3 extra shakes of bitters.
What's
above
it
and
called?
Beyond,
What
whatever.
bitters? What? Huh?
It's an Angostino.
Angostura bitters.
Angostura
bitters.
It's like cinnamon.
Okay.
Is mostly what it is.
Sounds like the name of a side project. Yeah, that's my crunch groove side project.
New Angostura album, Wales, gentlemen.
Yeah. It's just a bunch of noise.
Yeah, old
Mike's
fashioned.
producing. Yeah, sounds great. Just a bunch of fucking. Sounds about right.
That's kind of my traditional go-to,
like
but I've been going real heavy on the Manhattans lately. And then got on a big whiskey sour kick the last month with old school egg whites, man. Oh, goddamn.
Yeah, with the egg whites. I'm already 2 in. No, we had some other thing. What was the other thing we had tonight?
Paper plane.
You ever had a paper plane?
I don't know what that is.
Yeah, you wouldn't. It's, you're not sophisticated enough.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Some weird shit he heard on a podcast.
Well, yeah, I don't know if you guys do podcasts, but there's it's called the We Might Be Drunk. It's got Mark Norman and then let's see the other dude's name, Sam Morrill. It's like 2 comedians, but they're mixing up different cocktails and they've got like a theme cocktail every episode.
Oh, okay, that's a good idea.
Starting to burn through that list of stuff.
That's a good idea for a show.
Should hit that up.
We should have that idea.
The straight ripping that material, dude.
So we got us fucking sitting around talking about nothing.
That's all of it, man.
Hey, man, the people need their system of down fix, all right?
Yeah.
You need the info on system, you come to fucking Dangerville.
Pretty much all we've been talking about is Megadeth for like the last fucking thing. You hasn't listened to the new Megadeth album at all?
No. Well, actually, I did click on whatever the single was that they put out, and I listened to it, I think, twice, and I've already forgotten.
Oh, man, so like, good. I love it.
I remember thinking it was sweet when I was listening to it.
Yeah.
It sounds like Megadeth.
Yeah.
I never liked
standard
Megadeth.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some okay songs and stuff, but I don't know. Dave's voice
cheesy.
Doesn't do it for me.
I kind of agree with that too.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. It's always the cheese factor.
Yeah. Megadeth is because I grew up as a Metallica kid.
Me too.
So I'm definitely in the school of Metallica, but since I've matured musically and actually physically matured, I've come to realize that Metallica's guitar playing is not as tight and clean as Megadeth guitar playing.
Yeah, I've gone off on this before. I don't want to go off on the whole fucking thing again, but there's a split in both their careers right at the same time too, and it's literally at the same time when I kind of switch from like Metallica to Megadeth, and it's kind of like, and what a lot of it is, I went on this whole fucking rant in my mind the other day about how lyrically, it's great lyrics that make songs like last forever. And what always separated Metallica from their peers was the lyrics in a lot of ways, and the fact that they had these great songs with great lyrics that weren't cheesy.
Overall songs,
right?
Totally agree.
Yeah, and then that kind of break happens though with like at the Saint Anger period, and at that same period, there's a break in Megadeth where he basically has no band and he makes this album that was supposed to be a solo album and it becomes a Megadeth album and whatever.
Which album was that?
The System Has Failed. So, and it's right like 2001, 2002, whatever, 2003, something like that. And at that point is when Megadeth kind of stops becoming stops being cheesy. And don't get me wrong, there's still cheesy.
And they take the place of Metallica.
Yeah, it kind of, that's when there's like this shift in songwriting and everything. Because early Megadeth there's a lot of cheese.
Yes.
I mean, it's a lot of cheese, right?
Yeah.
And like,
I don't know what you're talking about. I listened to was it the fucking crazy song? I can't remember the name of it now.
Crazy song. Yeah. Hello, me. It's me.
Yeah.
That's
super serious, man.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. That's deep social literature. Commentary.
Indeed.
Some real meta stuff coming out of Mustaine right there. Some real big picture thinking.
Sweating bullets.
Yeah, it's a great song, right? And it's all that shit's fun. All that early Megadeth's fun as hell, but like,
right. And the riffs are like more technically proficient, and the solos, hands down, man. The leads are stellar.
And though that's the thing, though, too, and that was the other thing that I've been saying is that it's because like Metallica is like it's a band of like it's just these guys, and they had a couple lineup changes and everybody. Where Megadeth is like Dave Mustaine and people.
Yeah.
And it changes constantly.
You're right.
So it's way easier to have like the newest, latest, and greatest hotshot guy.
Yeah.
Who's 30 years younger than you, who's coming up on technical metal bands and shit, playing the shit now. So that said, the new Megadeth records are fucking crushing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But Dave Mustaine's a real fucking piece of work.
He is. He is. Everyone who's worked with him says the same thing.
Yeah. I was just catching David Elvison's been on some podcast, and he was talking about his firing essentially from the band, and he was like, what you got to understand is I was already out of the band anyway. He's like, I had already moved all my gear out. I had already played all my parts, and I hadn't spoken to Dave in like 3 years. He's like, my shit was all done. And then he got like cancer and had to go through all that and whatever. And they were still like working on the record or whatever and stuff. But he was like, I was done. I hadn't talked to him in forever. And like then that crazy shit happened where he was like DMing that girl or whatever. They just used that as an excuse, which is bullshit for a lot of different reasons. Because like, first of all, dude, keep that shit in house, man. Like,
absolutely.
And also, the girl was DMing him first and shit. And it's like, he's it's embarrassing, and I'm not condoning that behavior and whatever. But it's like, dude, like we're talking about rock stars here.
Yeah.
This is not a fireable offense. Like,
you're
in Megadeth.
Yeah, you've stayed in that band doing much worse things.
Yeah. You guys used to do heroin and crush pussy for 20 years. Like, okay, dude. Now you're getting fired over this.
But what was
it's
the whole
just literally
story?
a PR excuse,
Yes, it was, which is bullshit.
Yeah. Wasn't she pretty young or something? Like, I didn't get the full details.
So
like, what's
she started, and I don't know it all either, but she started messaging him when she was 17. Or something, but then like they never even did anything.
I was gonna say it's all digital anyway.
Yeah, like nothing. They never even were in the same room together.
Plus, it was in Kentucky, so
and that's
already well past her prime.
Exactly.
Married with 5 children.
Yeah,
at that point.
It's just dumb. It's just another fucking Dave Mustaine fucking whatever.
Yeah. So I started to tune in and pay attention when he had Chris Broderick in the band.
Yeah.
And Sean Drover, I think.
Yeah.
That was the album Endgame and 13, I think, were those couple albums. That was a nice sweet spot, in my opinion.
Endgame is a huge album. That's probably I'm not like a big, massive
Sean
Megadeth
Drover
fan. That's my go-to.
Incredible drummer. I didn't care for Chris Broderick.
Oh,
not
really?
Not gonna lie. Didn't like his solos. I was not into him.
Yeah.
I was not super Chris Broderick fan.
He's stellar, but he's no Marty Friedman. Marty Friedman is, I think, really, I think Megadeth's best lead player.
But I mean there's I think that's fair. But there's a lot of there's Chris Poland, and there's it was Glenn Drover was playing guitar, Sean Drover's brother. And that's how he got in that band. But then he left because he had like a family thing or something like that. But he was really good too. I really like the new guy though too.
Okay.
Kiko, whatever, man.
Yeah.
He's fucking great.
I've heard Kiko's solo album, which is the shit.
Yeah, and he's from is it Ingra or one of those?
Like,
what band is he from? Do you
guys
know?
know? I do not know that.
Yeah, indeed.
No, but I listened to his solo record a couple times. That's one you can just put through, and that's what I like about instrumental music too. You can just
put it on.
Yeah.
Are you a Dream Theater fan? I think we talked a little bit about Dream Theater. Right?
I am. Yeah, I basically lily pad jumped from Metallica to Dream Theater.
A lot of people did. I made that same course.
And so once I was, my obsession ran its course, so to speak, with Metallica, and then right around that Saint Anger time, I was just like, I need to find something else.
Man, Metropolis
They're disappointing me, but yeah,
Jesus Christ,
and that album was new when I got into them. And,
me too. That's the album I got into.
And then I went backwards and stuck with them ever since.
Yeah. You throw on that Metropolis too, man. That's like a legit goosebumps like every time it gets going. It's like, God damn it, you get so pumped up to listen to that shit.
That album like inspired me and another one of my good friends to write concept albums like that. We would like to do that. Let's take this one riff and just stretch it out. And how many 10 different ways can we play the same riff?
So
bring it back later and save this part for later.
Me Young on that album, dude. The bass playing on that.
Man.
Well, across the board.
Obviously. Across the board.
Jesus
they were so inspired.
I really got into instruments.
Yeah, man. That shit's fucking. What do you think of their like new shit?
I again, when Portnoy left, I kind of tuned out for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then, had a couple bite-sized samples here and there, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's okay. But their most recent album actually got him a Grammy. What's the name of the album? A View from the Top of the World.
It's a great album.
It's a great album.
That's definitely their best one since Portnoy left.
I agree.
I feel like they're really firing on all cylinders.
Well, the one that I really liked since Portnoy left is like really contrary to most of the fans' opinion. I really liked what's it called? The Astonishing. I was a big fan of that one, and a lot of other Dream Theater fans, the majority of Dream Theater fans, did not
I think
like
I kind of hated
album.
that. I think I was kind of hating
a lot
on
of
it
people
pretty hard.
hated that.
Yeah,
and but I think it's because maybe just for me because I had so much time away, and I was like, I really wanted to get into them again, and that was the current album at the time.
Right.
And
I think I listened to it like once, and I was like, I hate this.
Yeah,
it was super long. It was super cheese theater. Like
it was very cheesy concept sort of thing, and it was and they had a lot of like normal kind of like moments. And if you listen to Dream Theater, they don't sound normal that often.
Well, weren't they also doing sword fights and shit? Was
exactly.
that record?
Yes.
Yeah, it was all about. It was like they were trying to do a Game of Thrones.
It was
thing.
like super concept album.
Let's see the swords to Wu-Tang, gentlemen.
Like
Come on,
it was like a theater, literally. Like
we were rolling to. We were listening to 6 Degrees of Inner Turbulence one time. And I was like 18, 19. And I was like, it was the first couple times I'd ever smoked weed, and I'm going down the highway. And there's that song where the police siren comes to the back, and I'm freaking out. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
There's a bunch
Slow
of
it down to about 45, which, not conspicuous doing that.
Exactly.
There's a Queensrÿche record that has sirens, or that's caught me before. I'm fucking slow down.
That'll get you. Riding dirty, baby. Dangers of riding dirty.
Exactly.
I wanted to go back to, we were talking about Saint Anger there, and the Mars Volta. So Saint Anger and the first Mars Volta record, Deloused in the Comatorium, came out the same day. Oh. And the reason that I know that is because that's like my origin story on the Mars Volta. I was a fan of at the drive-in or whatever. And I'd go to Best Buy in Kalamazoo by the mall.
Oh, yeah.
And roll up in there to get Saint Anger, which I do. But then also you remember there was like the new release rack? It was like on the side of the aisle or whatever to be like what just came out today. It was like the Mars Volta. Oh, I read about these guys. These are the dudes from At the Drive-In. I don't know what to expect here, or whatever, but I'm going to score this too. And the album artwork was fucking awesome, which I didn't know at the time it was done by the guy that did all the Pink Floyd records and everything.
That dual cover
awesome.
On that album, they're so rad.
Storm Thurgeson or whatever, that guy that did all that shit. He's done many
all their
records.
Shit. That Francis the Mute with the 2 hooded guys looking at each other. That's the best.
So I'm like, oh, this looks killer. I definitely want to check this out. And it was one of those instances where you ever have a thing where 2 albums come out at like the same time, and even though both are great, one like really supersedes the other for you, and you kind of miss out on a record in a way. Well, that was definitely the case here with this, where like I put in Deloused on the way home, didn't put in Saint Anger because I had already heard some of that. And I put that in, and that first shit comes on, and I was literally just like, what is this? I've never heard anything like the effects on the vocals, and I was just like, this is fucking out of control.
I remember you hit me up the day it came out, and you're like, dude, there's this band, there's this album called the Mars Volta. He's like, I don't know if I love it or if it's the worst I've ever heard, but it is fucking out of control. You gotta check it out, dude.
Yeah, and I was not wrong. Was that?
Yeah.
That shit is just fucking mind-blowing.
I am totally clueless on Mars Volta.
Bro.
I do not know.
Bro, you need to go down that rabbit hole, man.
Okay.
They're my second, I will say, without a doubt, they're my second favorite band of all time. Who's
your top?
Tool.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
You see the Tool posters.
Yep. Say no more.
Yeah.
It's just there's nothing else like it. Like every band has some kind of proxy that's like, okay, it's kind of in this vein, kind of in this genre. Like, I don't know.
Volta is a combination, and that's
like if Russian Led Zeppelin had a baby and put it on methamphetamine.
Yeah, and they were from Mexico.
Mars Volta,
you know,
there's the whole Latin influence.
It's a combination of things that you would just never expect. Where there's like I'm saying, like they're this crazy Latin band. They come from also the post hardcore or the hardcore scene, and post hard is where they come from. But they're a prog rock band, and it's Latin. And they're making the scariest shit you've ever heard somehow. It's like where like the music is like this crazy proggy, it's not like DT, it's not metal, it's just like but it's also like terrifying. It's like occult themed,
sort of doomy kind of,
but not doomy in the fact, not like doom metal,
not
or
like
anything
slow,
like that.
sludgy.
No.
Very active.
The fastest, spazziest shit you can imagine.
Right on.
Like, imagine the fastest, spazziest band you've ever heard, and then multiply that by 4.
Okay.
That's the Mars Volta. They always had the best drummers. They always had the best bassists, including Flea, who played on the first record.
Really?
John Frusciante played on a bunch of their other shit.
So, like,
too.
Who's the band? Or is it like one guy who kind of...
It's 2 guys. It's the guitarist and the singer. And then they've had, like, bands. And now the band's kind of a completely different band because they broke up really publicly about 10 years ago. Oh. And I literally did not listen to the Mars Volta for 10 years. I have a problem with bands breaking up super publicly where I literally didn't listen to them. And then they got back together, and I was kind of like, oh, I guess my fucking embargo on the fucking and started playing them again and playing this new record, and I've been going back through, and it's literally almost been like emotional where I'm like, I forgot. I told you, I was like, I forgot how much this band means to me.
Like, I have missed you guys so much.
I said it felt like my parents got back together after divorce.
I never knew I missed you until now.
I mean, I saw them live like 14 times, like just all over the place, every fucking every venue, just driving, catching them fucking everywhere, and the show was just always different. No opener, they just come out and play for 3 hours.
Love that.
When we saw them open for System of a Down, they played like 1.5 songs for 35 minutes. No stops. No, they just come out, don't say shit, and just blow your fucking mind, and it's like super trippy. Like if you're not into drugs, you probably don't like the Mars Volta. It's one of those kind of things. It's there's a lot of soundscaping, a lot of Pink Floyd ish shit in it and whatever.
And it's right at that time period too, like 18, 19 years old, like first getting into college and everything. So many of those songs are just associated with so many like crazy, fun, great times. Yeah.
It was just the right band at the right time for us. Have you ever seen the movie Get Him to the Greek or whatever? Yeah. So there's a famous Jonah Hill scene where his girlfriend, he's trying to go to the concert, she's trying to get him to stay home. It's like, I think it's kind of at the beginning of the movie. Okay. And he's like, but I got tickets to see the Mars Volta tonight. And he does this thing where she's like, I don't know who that is. And he goes, and he turns it on and it's just going, and he's doing this Jonah Hill just going, It's fucking hilarious. And it's taken from one of their like obscure live records. They put out a live record. It's just a super funny. Like,
that's a pretty underrated flick, by the way, dude. I love me some Russell Brand. I think it's a funny motherfucker, dude.
I saw it, and I remember being like, oh, that movie's fucking awesome. I cracked up many times.
Russell Brand's a cool motherfucker.
He is.
You hear him talking.
I've seen him make the rounds on a bunch of podcasts. Man. He's got his own too.
Sure. Yeah. He's actually a brilliant guy.
He is.
Little up his own ass.
Little up his own. Well, a lot of brilliant people are. Yeah. Including the Mars Volta.
Once you realize how brilliant you are, it's hard not to be up your own ass.
Can confirm, gentlemen.
Yes. Yeah. What kind of podcasts you guys listen to nowadays? Besides this one, of course.
Let's see. I catch Smartless is a pretty good one. I like that with Jason Bateman and Will Arnett.
Okay, I don't know that, but that sounds good. I love Will Arnett.
There's a third guy.
I've heard good things about that.
It's funny. They have really cool. So they have a thing where it's long form, and I think the first 20, 30 minutes or so, it's just the three of those guys talking back and forth, and so every episode, one of the guys selects the guest, and the other two don't know who the guest is.
That'd be fun.
That's good premise.
So they reveal them a good amount into the podcast, and then it's so and so today. Oh, cool, and then they get to have the excitement moment right there.
Oh man!
So it's kind of cool.
It's a great idea.
And another podcast is actually my stepdad is a part of it. It's called T-Man and John, the Music Freaks, and they're radio disc jockey veterans from Florida.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, and so they talk shop about their radio days and stories about meet and greets with people, or they have special episodes about commonly misheard lyrics and some funny shit in there.
They've got to have stories for days.
So that's very entertaining. They just started it this year, and they're all excited about it. So you can pick that up. T-Man and John.
They still in Florida?
They are.
Yeah. Okay.
Out of Jacksonville.
Nice. Yeah, that's
mark that one down.
Yeah, it's a good one. Add it.
Yeah. Do you listen to any podcasts there, Mike?
I listened to tons for a while, but last one I listened to though is Blowback, which is really good. They do it as seasons, so it's a deep dive into. So season 1 was they do this deep dive into the Iraq War, and they go all the way
funny.
back to it is. It's funny dudes, and they bring in H. John Benjamin to be Saddam Hussein and shit. It's really entertaining.
That
and
is funny,
it's
actually.
Done tight 1 hour episodes of and just really dumping a lot of information on you, but it's in an entertaining
John Benjamin
way.
is Saddam Hussein.
Yeah, it's great. What's going on?
I gotta duck go this guy.
You remember shit, what's the guy from SNL? And he used to do Saddam on Conan. He used to do all those fucking things on Conan. Jack Handy or whatever. Is that what I'm thinking of? Fuck.
It kind of rings a.
Did you guys watch Conan at all? Were you Conan fans?
Yeah.
That was shit.
Yeah.
He used to have this. They'd put up. It was just a picture with the mouth cut out.
Oh,
and
yes.
And they did Saddam. They would just did all kinds of different people doing that, and it was that one guy. And that guy did a Saddam Hussein at that time, and that was the fucking funniest Saddam I've ever seen.
Was it the same?
The Saddamster?
Was it the same guy who does the dog?
Yes.
Okay.
Robert Smigel.
Robert Smigel.
Yes, thank you. That's the guy.
Not Jack Handy. Robert Smigel. The
That's
other
a great bit, man. That mouth cut out bit.
Triumph.
Jesus Christ.
And there was
that ongoing one with Martha Stewart, where she'd come on and then always go into flames and her eyes would start burning Satan style at the end. God
Conan
damn,
was
that
so
fun.
good.
So fucking
That was
funny,
such
man.
a bummer because then, there was the whole fallout after he took over Leno's spot.
Yep.
And then he jumped ship and then he lost the rights to all those bits because NBC held them. So that shit was gone. God damn, that was just
he had to start from scratch at TNT, but still built a great thing over there.
Speaking of podcasts, have you guys caught the Conan podcast at all? I'm the biggest Conan fan and I never heard the podcast.
It's been recommended to me by multiple people.
I was listening to it when it came on for a long time. And then you know what happened was I got fucking switched. I got bait and switched by fucking Joe Rogan on Spotify. So I switched to Spotify to continue to listen to Rogan, like the fucking bitch I am.
Yeah.
And I didn't resubscribe to all the shit I had on Apple Podcasts, which was I got I have 2 completely different subscription sets on Apple Podcasts. It's all a bunch of true crime and spooky shit and paranormal shit and whatever.
Okay.
And then it's all comedians on fucking Spotify, but I'm only listening on Spotify.
You have a double life.
I know you're shaking your fucking head over here, dude, but I got fucking Roganite, dude.
That's the big reason why I don't really listen to podcasts is there's no fucking good format to listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
If you try to subscribe to somebody's shit, then it's here's an RSS feed link and go figure out how to work that, and then you got to download some janky.
I think a great thing is
it's a pain in the ass to keep track of all of it.
Like the Dangerville podcast is available on multiple platforms.
What?
Everything ranging from Spotify to YouTube to Apple Music. So actually quite convenient to get over.
Only 3. It's only available on the main 3. That's all you need. Nowhere else.
That's all you need, yeah. I don't listen to that many, and you can still find me fucking around on YouTube, just like waiting through an ad to get something.
Yeah.
Like, another podcast, Club Random with Bill Maher.
Yeah, I listen to every episode of that.
I definitely dig that
I'm a huge
one.
Bill Maher
I'm a huge
fan,
Bill Maher fan.
Hey, right on.
I never miss an
love
episode
Bill Maher,
of his real time on HBO.
He can be a prick too, but fucking
oh man,
he's spot on. I feel like
exactly all his hot takes, man.
Yeah.
I can't not
Club
agree
Random's
with
fun too because
things
it's
he
not
says.
the political show. It's
Exactly.
just him fucking shooting the shit.
Yeah,
with
I feel
people.
like I'd like to think that I could hang out with Bill Maher and not have a single
indeed.
problem.
He always he's just getting to that point. I feel like when you get to a certain age, you just get fucking crantankerous or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like, even when people are agreeing with you, you're fucking just like a cranky fuck.
Yes.
And I feel like he can be like that a little bit now. And I'm like, did you listen to the episode with him and fucking, what's the other fucking pothead guy? Fucking,
Woody
Harrelson. You listen to that one?
Yeah.
And they're like best friends.
They are.
And they're like the whole time they're arguing with each other. And I'm just like, God damn it, you guys just like get along for 2 seconds, and they love each other. And but it's just like
with them, you can tell it's authentic.
It is. And it's just like, but at the same time, it's kind of cringy to listen to in a little bit. Just like, Jesus Christ, guys, it's two old men arguing about weed right now. And just like, fuck.
He has a way to. I can see how he can rub people the wrong way.
Yeah.
Because he tends to just like, he'll finish his thought. He'll talk over you if he's still talking, but he's usually not wrong.
Speaking of cantankerous and supposed to be kind of a dick, I've heard really good things about that Mark Maron podcast, which I've not actually caught, but that's supposed to be pretty outstanding.
I listened to WTF for years from when it started.
Good stuff.
I couldn't get into it. I was late to the game.
Eventually, he found his stride, and it got really good. But it started off a little rocky.
Yeah.
Well, he started doing podcasts when podcasts was not a thing. I mean, it was like him and Rogan.
That was it.
And then Adam Curry and a couple of these other guys.
It's got to take some time to get your feet on. I mean, we hit the ground running and crush it right off the bat. But
we were way ahead of the curve.
Most mere mortals, I would imagine there's some level of ramp-up period there for sure.
Peasants.
So here's my WTF story, though, is you know how his wife passed away a couple of years ago? Mark Maron's wife passed away? Kind of, sort of. I don't know if it was unexpectedly, but obviously it was.
I didn't know that.
So this is when I start getting into podcasts. This must be 3 years ago or something now. And I'm like going through and I'm like, oh, I guess this is kind of like the other second biggest podcast in the world kind of thing or whatever. I better check this out. It happens to be the episode where he comes back after 2 weeks and basically just talks for 40 minutes in full on tears about his wife dying. And I'm like,
but when
I came in at the wrong spot.
When you push her down the stairs, do you really get the right to?
I did watch his special though on Netflix a couple years ago, which is pretty good. He actually like sits down the whole time. And just kind of it's funny. But he's also like one of these other guys who's kind of like. He's sort of a philosopher at this point, too, more than a comedian.
Wasn't that real small room, like 20, 30 people? Okay,
I think it seemed pretty small.
Really?
Like extra small.
Really intimate kind of feel, yeah. Okay.
I just like his stand-up comedy. I was happy he got successful, though, because I used to watch... I watched Comedy Central from when it was just HBO's The Comedy Channel, and I was like 12. This is when it younger, when it started, and they'd have like all these stand-up specials, like one night stand and 2 drink minimum shit, where they're just playing clip after clip, and I'd see his comedy all the time, and I'd laugh at it, and he just like had a nothing career for his whole life until he started his podcast.
Well,
it's like a last ditch effort too. He's like, I don't know, I can do this or I kill myself.
He had a little handful of acting things here and there.
To be fair, a lot of comedy, that's just what it was. I mean, like comedy today is just like it's like it's bigger than music. It's bigger than fucking
And that's one of those things that Bill Maher keeps saying is like, comedians back in the 50s and 60s, it was like one comedy superstar per decade.
Yeah.
Well, there's no barrier to entry anymore, right?
Exactly.
Like you can just get your
like
shit
the
out there so much more easily. Yeah, that was it. Like you either go on there and appease Carson or like fuck off, essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah. Have you guys heard, and I want to catch this guy's stand-up desperately, but I think it was the funniest, like we're big Flagrant fans of Andrew Schultz, big comedy podcast. Stavros Halkias.
Oh, that dude's funny as hell.
Oh my
God, you got to listen to the Cumtown podcast. That's what he's.
Does he have a podcast?
Sounds like a winner.
He's one of 3 dudes. It's on a podcast called Cumtown.
Okay.
And it's like it goes. I think it started in like 2016. It was just a bunch of like 20-something comedians, a bunch of dirtbag leftist dudes.
Yeah,
and just it's filthy and hilarious. All of them are.
He's fucking hilarious.
Nick Mullen is one of them, and then there's I forget the other dude, Adam something, but yeah, Stavros is fucking great.
I've heard his name. I never caught him though or nothing.
He was just like, that was my favorite episode of that podcast. Wow, he's got a big stand-up special, I think, a handful of months ago he put out on YouTube. I'm right on. Catch it.
Yeah. There was one guy, I was just on there, Jimmy something. Man, I was telling him earlier because I like took a nap earlier and I don't know what it was, but I swear to God I woke up stupid, dude. I've like all day, all after I'm just going, ew,
you're too hard on yourself, man. In fairness, you were born that way.
Stupid. Let me see if I can just find it.
Yeah, that midday nap's a ball breaker, dude. I can't recover
sometimes,
from that shit,
yeah, exactly. Sometimes they help, sometimes they
real
hurt.
Hit or miss. Yeah, once some great why they come back super strong. But
yeah, you must have woke up mid-cycle.
For real. Bobby Kelly. Bobby Kelly. God damn, he is a funny man. Jesus,
he's been in a bunch of movies and shows and stuff. Too. He was on Louis' show, I think. When Louis had that show, he was on there quite a bit.
Jesus Christ, that guy was fucking just cracking me up.
Yeah, he's
I was
funny
like,
guy,
holy
man.
shit, to be that funny.
He's one of the Roganites, one of the Rogan crew, like the old school Boston, like super dirty, super angry type guys.
Yep. Out of that fucking Boston scene, which Boston comics do seem to kind of be the best, honestly.
Well, they're always talking about not just like Boston, New York, all that. It's always cold weather comics, right? Because everybody's so pissy and angry.
Absolutely.
Ultra congested
Bill
up
Burr,
there. Yeah.
Guys like that.
Bill Burr's like my favorite. I'm going to see him. He's got tickets. He's coming to the Van Andel.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
He's
get tickets.
He's one of the best right now.
Yeah. His new special at Red Rocks or whatever was fucking
great. I saw that one.
And I was just telling him I caught this guy. I didn't know who this guy was. Apparently he's been on The Office and a bunch of shit. His name is Judah Friedlander.
Oh yeah.
Friedlander.
Yeah.
Holy shit, dude. His comedy special is just like it's like bunch of different shows shot on cell phone at the Comedy Cellar, and it's just like they just took like the best shit because so much of it is improv.
Okay.
And they just like cut it together and it's like an hour and a half and it's like political, but it's like not political. I don't know how else to describe it, but he basically like a big part of his shit is I'm running for president. Ask me questions. and so people would just go, abortion or whatever, or just shout, foreign policy. Yeah. And he'll just start riffing on it. And it's just absurd. Though. That's cool. Like he's just like, yeah, let's invade North Dakota. Send North Korea a message. It's just like shit like this, and you're just like, oh my god, he's got this huge beard now and shit.
Yeah. Like he was on 30 Rock, wasn't he?
I was gonna say,
yes.
Yeah, I remember him from 30 Rock.
And when I saw the picture of him like shaven and shit, I was like, oh, I recognize that guy. But now he's like huge beard, long. He's wearing this trucker hat and shit, and I'm just like, oh my god.
He's got that real small cameo in Meet the Parents. When Ben Stiller goes and he's like, do you have a nice bottle of wine? He's like, we've got Mums. And he's like, anything nice, like an $80 or $100 bottle? And he goes, you could buy a whole lot of Mums. Such a great line.
That's great.
Yeah, man, but that shit's on Netflix right now, and it is fucking hilarious. You know how like a special is only like 50% as funny as seeing something live or whatever. Like a lot of the time I don't even like actually laugh at watching comedy specials, because it's not like being there or whatever.
You're right.
I was watching it by myself and I was laughing out loud.
That's perfect.
Just like this fucking guy, man. And the part of it, what's so funny about it too is like, just like, and he even cuts it where it's like, he'll have like a thing that pops up that just says same question, different night. So it's like, it's not, so, it's not like I did it one night. It's like, somebody will ask him like a question, or he'll do like the same bit like multiple nights, but it's different, and he puts all of them in the special.
Great. Yeah.
God damn, that's.
I'm gonna give the recommendation again. Talked about it for 2 seconds last episode, but that Ricky Gervais special from I think it was over last winter. Jesus Christ, and I'm still not all the way through it, but it was so fucking funny.
Anything he does, I'm into it.
It was so great.
Yeah. Oh, I'm a fan of Ricky Gervais.
Indeed. Definitely. I got mixed feelings. I never really caught the special or whatever. I think sometimes like I don't know, it's a little much, but I know he really fucking went hard on
Catch the Special, man.
What was it, the Golden Globes or whatever though that he hosted?
Oh yeah,
a couple years ago that he went hard on everybody about, and he was like
roasting the whole room. Oh yeah, He's great.
You got to respect that. He truly gives no fucks.
He does not.
Nice to have that kind of cheddar, man. You know, it's got a pretty nice safety net to fall back in.
Exactly. Money, dude.
Exactly. He does. The office money. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, dude.
He's got this whole bit in there where he's talking about, you know, all these different like oppressed groups and things these days, and it's like, I'm a straight middle-aged white man. There are less than 1% of us out there.
The Dangerville podcast is brought to you by True Basic T-shirts. Are you a basic bro who's on the go? Does your dad bod bulge in all the wrong places? Then you need True Basic T-shirts, the basic T-shirt for the basic bro. Are you the kind of guy who wears T-shirts all the time? Do you think collared shirts are for pussies with college degrees? Then we've got you covered. True Basic Tees are tailored to fit even the most basic male specimen. The sleeves are cut high, revealing to all your once glorious biceps that now look like deflated blimps with faded barbed wire tattoos. A tight-fitting chest to highlight the shapely outlines of your man tits. And to cover your shameful beer gut, we've left enough room to smuggle an entire North Korean family. Take that, Kim Jong-un. True Basic Tees come in 3 basic colors: faded red, mold green, and dishwater gray. And for when you really need to class things up, camouflage. At True Basic Tees, we don't believe in printing graphics on your shirt. We know they'll just get stretched out anyway. True Basic Tees' high odor absorption means you can wear them 3 or even 4 times in a row. Now, not even your mom can tell you to take a shower. And there's more great news. True Basic Tees are mustard stain repellent. That should come in handy, you sloppy fuck. And introducing True Basic Boxer Shorts. Cut extra tight in the crotch to snugly secure your sad tiny penis. Kid Rock says, finally, there's an underwear for me. Go to truebasic.com and enter promo code Dangerville for 10% off. We know you're gonna need it, you cheap bastard.
You know.
What are you thinking over there, guy? Look like you got something on your mind.
I feel like that I'm just not informed.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I go through life day to day and I don't know what's happening in the world.
Right. Always tough to kind of have those conversations if you're not armed with a little bit of knowledge, right?
Yeah. So I just wonder, can you tell me what's happening in the world right now?
I think we might be able to do a little something to make that happen.
The Dangerville podcast presents News of the World.
Yes.
All right. British Prime Minister Liz Truss. You guys following Liz Truss? You heard it here first. She has quit. She quit Thursday after what they're calling a tumultuous and historically brief term in which her economic policies roiled the financial markets and a rebellion in her own political party obliterated her authority.
Yowza.
The headline says.
Big adjective.
Mm-hmm. The ruling Conservative Party said it would choose a successor by the end of next week. In other news, Donald Trump has announced his intention to move to England by next Friday.
You are correct, sir. Yes!
Kudos on hitting a new sounder that time.
Yeah, indeed.
I always end up defaulting to the one that's closest to me. And it's like, good enough.
Yeah, that Liz Truss bitch, though, man. Jesus Christ, she was something else, man. Holy cow.
I didn't really pay attention to any of that, but there is one of the tabloids over in England started when she started. They're like, "Here's a head of lettuce, and it's gonna sit on this table. We're gonna live stream and see which one lasts longer." And the head of lettuce is still going.
Yes.
We talking iceberg? We talking?
Yeah. She was. I caught like just clips of her. You know, a lot of people were obviously making fun of her and stuff. And it's just like, wow, this lady's just out of control.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention to it either while it was happening, but I remember hearing, even when Boris Johnson was still in, and when he announced he was leaving, a lot of people was like, this is not going to go well.
Yeah.
We just know that whoever it is, it's not going to go well.
She was just like this mousy lady and just had these crazy ideas. And it's just like, Jesus Christ.
I'm wildly ill-informed. This is literally the first time I'm hearing any of these names.
Yeah.
All right. So a California baker creates life-sized Han Solo out of bread.
Yeah, I saw that.
So word on the street is that she was also working on a life-size piece of Lando Calrissian bread, as the woman has repeatedly commented over the years that she desperately wants to be the meat in a Harrison Ford and Billy D. Williams sandwich. She also said that she attempted to bake a life-size piece of Mark Hamill bread, though upon completion, the sight of it immediately ruined her appetite for a month. It was a tremendous piece of art until noted carb junkie Jabba the Hutt caught wind of it and promptly devoured the entire thing. And the woman devoted weeks to the creation, leading this Dangerville reporter to believe that in addition to Han, this creepy broad was also solo.
Wow. Okay,
she's also solo. They're grasping at straws here.
Pretty good with the meat sandwich there, though. That was pretty solid.
Yeah, and in an unprecedented turn of events, my friend, this is Dangerville first, so we got material for days. A Dangerville first here. So it was actually able to obtain a live interview with Chewbacca to comment on the story here.
Wow.
Yep. So let's hear what he had to say. Powerful stuff from Chewbacca. Oh. God damn it, I even made a note to cue up the soundbite beforehand. Should have done that operation. Moving on.
Jesus Christ.
Worst episode ever.
All right. Maybe I can edit that in a little bit. Save your sorry ass.
I was going to hit you up to edit it in. I was like, no, cue it up. Let's hit it on YouTube. It'll take 2 seconds and then not so much.
All right, you ready? Cardi B is embattled in a lawsuit over her racy mixtape artwork. You guys followed this story at all? Seen this?
No.
Hear about this?
Did not.
Kevin Michael Brophy is seeking $5 million from Cardi B over the appearance of some of his distinctive back tattoos on her 2016 mixtape artwork, which shows a tattooed man with this guy's tattoos, apparently, from behind with his head between her legs. That's the cover art, which, to be fair, is awesome.
Pretty dope.
Cardi B's team has offered to settle by paying the $5 million in unsold rap snacks, but the offer was declined, citing unfavorable reviews on the popular Dangerville podcast. You guys know what rap snacks are?
No.
They're basically the worst chips you've ever had, with different rappers on the front, the cover, whatever you call it, the cover, I don't know what you call it, on the bag. Yeah, and they're god awful, and we've been eating them on the podcast.
Oh.
The content well's really been running low. We're resorting to crushing rap snacks on the show. All right, so a pack of coyotes surrounds a dog walker in Massachusetts.
Shit.
Yeah, so thankfully the police came to the rescue. They scared the 9 coyotes away by blaring their sirens. After that, they posted tips on the police website that they got from the Humane Society for ways to get rid of problematic coyotes, noting effective tactics such as dropping a large Acme anvil or boulder on them, momentarily outrunning them while waiting for the rockets to explode, or putting up a sign that says "this way" with an arrow pointing toward a cliff.
Yes.
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh God!"
You totally redeemed yourself with that one.
That's the appropriate reaction to almost all of these stories, my friend.
That was good shit.
That was good.
All right, a woman blinded herself in jail while under the influence of drugs will receive $4.35 million in a lawsuit settlement. You guys seen this shit?
What?
Tanya Suarez was arrested after police found her wandering outside a Southern California motel while high on drugs. She was acting oddly and clawing at her eyes at the time of arrest. Suarez said in her lawsuit that while in jail, a deputy was watching and did nothing as she tried and then succeeded to remove her own eyeball.
Ugh.
Whoa.
She ripped her own eyeball out of her fucking head.
What the fuck?
Yep. When asked about how she felt about the outcome of the lawsuit, Suarez said, "Honestly, I didn't see it coming."
Yes.
You are correct, sir. Yes.
Danielle Pena, her lawyer, said she hopes to see, this is a quote, she hopes to see more accountability. At this point, I think she hopes to see more of anything.
Yeah.
It's about the same joke, really, but yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. Bath salts are a hell of a drug, gentlemen.
Yeah,
that's what I was
seriously,
going to
what
say.
the fuck
Sounds
was
like
this
bath
bitch-
salts.
And also, like, how responsible is the police for, like, come on, this is a little ridiculous as far as she's fucking out. I don't know. She's out of control, ripping her own fucking eyes out of her head. Like, what the fuck is this guy gonna do about it? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you do with that?
He's just probably so fucking phased by it. Just like, what the fuck? Like,
I'm not getting her blood on me.
He's probably taping it. This is gonna go viral.
Yeah.
Yeah, she'd give her right eye to get out of that prison sentence.
There you go.
All right, so a German man bites police dog and a woman punches officer. So German police were called to a dispute between two 29-year-old men and a 35-year-old woman shortly after midnight earlier this week. Apparently fueled by a shitload of booze and a great love of irony, one of them decided to bite the police dog when they were trying to apprehend him. When asked what caused the initial hullabaloo between the two men and one woman that led the officers there to begin with, one of the arrested men told them that he, quote, called dibs on the ass.
Nice.
Jesus Christ. You know what I heard about that is, luckily, McGruff is said to be in stable condition. Expected to make a full recovery.
It's a far better angle.
Did you catch this shit? A woman was charged with sending a swarm of bees on deputies serving an eviction notice. A Massachusetts woman released a swarm of bees on sheriff's deputies as they tried to serve an eviction notice, is facing multiple assault and battery charges.
Yikes.
The RZA, Raekwon, and Method Man, and the rest of Wu-Tang have not been charged at this time.
Oh, man.
Kill the bees, son! We're in it for the children!
That's good material. God damn it.
Pretty good.
I gotta set my game up here, man. I'm 0 for 3. I'm getting out, man. Getting out gun, getting out cocked over
Maybe
here.
queued up your goddamn somebody.
Yeah, no.
Man, dude.
First one was a solid bit, and I really shit the bed with that lack of Chewbacca. Just needed that 5-second sound. It really would have sold the whole thing. All right, let's set the game up here. We ready? Connecticut jury rules against Alex Jones.
Oh, yeah.
So Alex Jones is ordered to pay $965 million to parents of Sandy Hook shooting victims.
Yep.
A Dangerville investigative reporter has done some digging and learned that his next biggest InfoWars story is slated to be the first non-conspiracy story in quite some time, and is a report titled, "I Can No Longer Afford a Pizza Gate." After losing the court case centering around his statements that the grieving parents were actors and that the whole thing was a hoax, his claims were the second thing about Sandy Hook confirmed to be shot to hell. Too much? Too much? Too much?
Nope.
Shot to hell.
Just enough.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. All right, is that all you got on that?
That's all I got on that.
All right,
What else
we
on a
got
high
here?
note there?
What else we got here? Canada's Dana Glowacka. Okay, yeah, I guess. Canada's Dana Glowacka set the world record for holding the abdominal plank position, holding the plank for an astonishing 4 hours, 19 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Damn.
And she got the whole thing on video. It's Guinness Book of World Records or something. Most of the time to me seems unnecessary because it only took me about 2 minutes to masturbate to. Really held that position strong. Yeah, well played. You got more news clips?
Oh, I got news for days.
All
I
right.
got terrible news for days. Radioactive waste found at a Missouri elementary school.
Yeah.
Did you see this one?
I did. I heard about that.
So extensive testing was done by the Boston Chemical Data Corporation and has confirmed the district's worst fears, detecting extremely high levels of radioactive polonium at the school.
Ooh.
This marks the second serious health crisis for Jana Elementary School in as many months, following quickly on the heels of a September finding which detected exceedingly high levels of bolognium, a meat-like substance contained in the lunchable foodstuffs found in several of the children's lockers.
Wow. Bologna.
Watch out for that bolognium.
Bolognium. Kidding aside, I watched this doc on HBO a while back about this whole thing, and the radioactive stuff's a real fucking mess in St. Louis, and they used to do a bunch of testing. I think it was like a testing facility back then. So they buried all this shit, supposedly like encased it in cement and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's leaking out like a motherfucker. There are all these instances of like hot spots. They tracked instances of cancer like going down this river, and it's just absurd the whole way down. They're starting to get like, a garbage dump sites where it will kind of like spontaneously combust because the gases build up, and like sometimes landfills will just light on fire. That shit's happening under Missouri, St. Louis right now.
Yeah.
And fucking, there's like radioactive fires that are just constantly burning under there.
Well, did you hear they had to rename the school? Did you hear that?
I did not.
Yeah, they renamed it Professor X's School for Gifted Children.
That's good shit.
That's good.
Also a Nelly joke. Should probably worked in a Nelly joke there. Didn't really occur to me until
in St. Louis.
Yeah.
The St. Louis barbecue's extra spicy.
Yeah, that's right.
Why is the sauce green? It's glowing.
Yeah.
Chili's in this? What's
cilantro? Big on that cilantro.
Yeah.
I got one more. You got any more?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
All right. Mel Gibson has been slated.
Don't you take my Gibson material, you son of a bitch.
Well, we'll see. Mel Gibson has been allowed to testify at the Harvey Weinstein trial. They're allowing him to testify. Apparently, that was the thing. I don't know, whatever. The 66-year-old actor and director was quoted as saying, "I'm sure Weinstein is guilty. After all, he is Jewish."
God damn it.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's an anti-Semite.
Right.
I asked you if you had more.
Oh, I got more. Damn it. That's my finest material right there. I'm thinking about rolling through it anyway.
What else you got? All right. What else you got on Mel Gibson and Harvey Weinstein?
It's the same joke, but I'm going to tell it anyway. I'm going to go with it here. So when asked by the judge when he felt I'm not going to do it. Fuck it. You rat bastard.
Do it. Let's hear your version.
Do it.
All right. So Judge Lisa B. Lynch ruled that Gibson can testify in support of his masseuse and friend, who told him that after giving a massage to Weinstein, he followed her into the bathroom naked and masturbated. When asked by the judge why he felt compelled to testify, Gibson stated, "Your Honor, I could never live with myself knowing that I stayed quiet, abandoned a friend in need, and missed an opportunity to put a Jew behind bars."
Exactly.
That it?
That's
yeah, yours was a little more thought out. Mine was just like the obvious. Mel Gibson hates Jews, so here we go.
I've got one more 25-minute news story here.
All right, we got time to kill.
Everybody's drinks full. We all good here? All right. So members of the band BTS will serve in the South Korean military and regroup in 2025. So there was originally a debate about whether they should be granted exemptions because of their artistic accomplishments. However, upon reviewing their catalog, the judge ruled that not only would they be made to serve the mandatory 3 years, but tacked on an additional 10 for punishment for the previous crimes against humanity. With the inclusion of BTS into the South Korean army, jet engine tailpipes are now the second most flaming thing associated with the nation's military. They were initially excited to hear about being ordered to service until their manager gave them a lesson in military jargon, informing them that being surrounded by other privates doesn't mean what they think. The band said, "We have always been aware of the eventuality of mandatory service and have long been making preparations to be ready for this moment, noting their systematic dyeing of hair, choreographing of synchronized dance moves, and implementation of exceedingly tight jeans, all in a series of concerted efforts to confuse and arouse the enemy."
Yep.
The lackluster boy band are now waving bye to money and fame for the foreseeable future.
that it?
Yeah, that's all I got.
You're gonna end on the bye. Yeah, you should have cut about 3 of those.
No, that's go tier.
That's good, man. It's good.
I heard they were gonna fucking like just put them in the fucking demilitarized zone and just dance their way to victory. You know, like.
Canada was exploring a similar option strictly for the purpose of hoping Bieber would inadvertently get killed in action.
Indeed. Like somebody's got to kill these fucking assholes up.
Man, all the BTS fans on the internet are gonna come after you.
I know they're coming. Everybody's coming after us hard already,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
We're huge in South Korea too, so this is not going to go over well.
We're huge in North Korea.
Yeah,
yeah, we are state funded in North Korea.
On state TV.
I'm pulling out one more bonus story. Goddamn, I'm shitting the bed. We're going one more bonus story.
Lay it on me.
It's the worst one. I punted it, but we're gonna try and redeem myself here.
If this is the worst one, we're in fucking trouble.
Yeah, it's been a rough stretch here. I'm not gonna lie, these really didn't hit as hard as I thought they would. I was pretty happy with some of this material. All right,
you quit stuttering, would be all right.
Yeah, the drinking is not helpful when trying to read stuff. Also, I've got a 3rd grade education, which tends to make this problematic. Shout out Fruitport Elementary School. So, trial delayed in killer clown case.
Oh.
A woman is awaiting trial for the 1990 slaying of the wife of the man she later married. So took out this guy's original wife, married him after the fact. She allegedly rang the doorbell dressed as a clown, handed the man's wife carnations and a balloon before shooting her in the face.
Oh!
Wow.
Yep. She is thought to be the 3rd most dangerous and hated clown in history, having narrowly been edged out by Shaggy, T-Dope, and Violent J.
Yes.
When questioned about why the case has taken so long to go to trial, the presiding judge said he wanted to wait for the 6th Joker card to drop before determining what's what.
Of course.
All right, now I'm done.
Do they meet at the gathering of the Juggalos?
Yeah.
Have I told my well, that's the end of the news, right?
Thankfully, yes.
The Dangerville Podcast presents News of the World.
Oh, I'm sorry you guys are subjected to that.
It's all right. It's all right.
Have I told on the podcast before my ICP concert story?
I don't think so. You said you went there, but I don't think I got the full
I
rundown.
saw ICP when I was 13. It was at the Deltaplex here in town, which is like literally a stone's throw from where we are now. Me and Andy Inglot went. Shout out to Inglot, and their whole thing is the fucking Fago and all that.
Yeah.
And so basically, my story about going to see him was, well, first of all, they were people in the crowd were literally lighting their clothes on fire and like throwing it like in the fucking, like, this is before the show, just lights on, everything. Like, it was just pandemonium. But mid concert, you remember fucking 2 liters used to have that plastic bottom on it? It was like a separate piece of plastic on the bottom of a 2 liter.
Yeah.
And it was like a thicker piece of plastic that they like glued on to a 2 liter.
Yeah.
And so and Fago was still rocking that shit because they were like, they're way behind the times, And so they're doing a fucking song, and the lights cut. It's the end of the song, and he fucking whips a half full 2 liter out right as the lights cut, and it fucking spins around and it comes out, and it fucking, the bottom of that fucking thing caught me right in the eye.
Oh.
This was a half full 2 liters.
Fuck.
Wham! Fucking right in the eye. And so I was just fucking got blasted by that, but it was so hot in there that I grabbed the 2 liter. I like caught the 2 liter basically, and I just started pouring it on myself to cool myself down. And it was root beer.
God.
Shaggy and Violent J stopped the show. They're like, hang on, guys. We really expect more out of the Juggalo army here. This behavior is just unacceptable.
Yeah, right.
We're not mad. We're just disappointed.
I'm so sure.
we were pretty big fans of the that one record there. Was just still gold.
Great Malenko.
The Great Malenko.
Malenko and Riddlebox.
Yeah.
Riddlebox is a banger as well.
Those are actually really great records. Like, actually, like the Great Malenko like is phenomenally produced. Like, sounds great. The fucking It's funny as shit. You know, like
it is funny.
I remember my
really
mom would always
is that the one that
driving
has the I'm sorry, is that had the one with the dating game on it?
Yeah.
That's
the
a
Ned
classic.
game.
So funny. Dude. Yeah,
That's the classic.
It really is.
That's one I remember a lot.
Yeah.
That shit came out. We were probably like 14, 15, and my mom
Yeah.
was always carting us around to the movies.
We would have been younger because I was 13. I know when I saw that.
Or maybe
show.
not came out, but we were like bumping it around that age.
Yeah.
But in any event, like my mom's carting us around and we're sitting there rocking Great Malenko and she's just laughing her ass off. And she's like super buttoned up, like not that inappropriate of a lady, but she's like, let's go.
It's funny. I don't care who you are. That fucking record is hilarious.
I remember it was really big when I think it was like 98, 99.
Yeah.
Those were out,
Yeah,
and I had a few
98,
friends. I was like a freshman, I think, at that point, and
Yeah.
I had a few friends who were super into it, and they shared it with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's some funny shit. Those guys are legit hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's that first Carnival of Chaos, I think was the first
Yeah,
album.
yep.
That fucking Kid Rock was on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
It was
Oh,
how
really?
Kid Rock kind
Oh, I
of
didn't
started
know
to
that.
get into things.
Yep.
Wow.
Kid Rock.
ICP knowledge for days, gentlemen.
No
Yeah.
shit.
Snoop is on a fucking ICP CD too.
Really?
Yeah, they did it's like I think one of the later ones. What was the dual one with the flaming guys, the Jekyll brothers or some shit?
Oh, the Amazing Jekyll.
Yeah,
Brothers,
I think it was
man.
on that one. They had like a put out a poll to their fans of like, who do you want to get us to guest on? And there was like 4 people on it or something, and they voted Snoop. And so Snoop, and like honestly, it's pretty phoned in. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah.
Snoop will guest on anybody's shit. I think it's for like $75,000 or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah,
Got to get him on the next album.
I
Here.
know.
Get him
We
in the
need
booth. Get him in the booth.
pool our money and get Snoop to come in and lay something down.
I'm in.
Guest star on some Long After Midnight, huh?
Yeah, for real. Oh yeah, anything.
Have him do that Ice-T voiceover cameo, new Megadeth album style. Dude.
I saw Snoop live in 1997 too.
Really?
It was at Lollapalooza at Vale du Lakes, and that was also the first time I saw Tool. And fucking Snoop played right before Tool. They were both kind of like, and Korn was the other headliner, but the dude from Korn had broke his arm, so they weren't there. And so anyway, Snoop headlines, right? And but before he comes out, all of Tool's gear is set up. And like, again, I'm literally 13 years old. We have no idea what's going on. And this ginormous drum kit, double kick drum kit, and we're like, is this Snoop's drum set?
Snoop's
Like,
about to throw down.
like, Snoop has this drum set out here? Like, what the fuck? Yeah, he came out and fucking crushed it, and then fucking Tool came out and crushed it. It was just what a hilarious
That's
back.
hilarious,
And they're like my
Right.
2 favorite like artists, you know, to
That
this
is a
day,
weird
so-
juxtaposition.
Yeah, it really is.
Dude,
man.
speaking of, so I see this couple the other day. I'm in a Walmart, which shame on me for being there to begin with, and I should have expected this. But so there's this couple, and this dude in an old school Columbine trench coat jacket, like decked out, you know, like that whole deal. And his girl's got a Korn hoodie on. And I'm laughing. I'm like, this is pretty inappropriate. Pretty inappropriate tandem here. And then I kind of peek over it. I notice they've got a small child riding in the cart. They are the parents of a small child. I'm like, is this enough just solely based on the Korn sweatshirt to call child services? Like, can I safely make the assumption that there's probably some foul play going on here in this?
Yeah. If I see one ICP t-shirt, that's it. I'm calling it in.
I'm gonna get an ICP t-shirt. I'm getting on their website and fucking ordering one up for sure, man. I'm still supporting. I'm still fucking still down with the clown.
Down with the clown.
Gotta go full Juggalo pain if you're gonna rock
Indeed.
that thing, dude.
Michigan, baby.
It is.
Detroit.
Yep.
I saw Kid Rock real early on too at Warp Tour, which I think was Warp Tour 98. Deftones headline. It was pretty clutch. It was also the time when swing was a thing. You guys remember when the swing acts came?
Oh, like
Weird.
ska?
Yeah.
The ska
No,
band?
it was like
Brian
almost after
Setzer and
ska
stuff?
in a way. It was like when
Really?
swing bands.
Yeah,
man.
like there's Zoot Suit Riot.
Cherry
and
Pop
shit.
and
Pop and
Yeah,
Daddies,
like,
Brian
they played.
Setzer Orchestra.
That's weird. They
That's what
like
I
were
call ska.
co-headlining.
Well, Brian Setzer, yeah, it's more
Cherry Pop
straight
and Daddies.
ska.
I saw him. And by the way,
Yeah.
Zoot Suit Riot's a great fucking song. I don't care.
Oh, it is.
Fucking excellent.
Isn't
song.
that ska though?
No, that's like the swing, the new swing.
So what's ska?
ska was like a punk with horns, basically.
Right.
Like Real Big Fish.
Yeah.
Suicide Machines was like a
Mustard Plug.
hardcore ska.
Mustard Plug.
Yeah.
Okay,
Shout out to
so
Nate
I
Cohn,
see.
my
So
boy,
the Cherry
drummer
Poppin',
for Mustard Plug.
the Cherry
Well, it was
Poppin' Daddies didn't
but
have
it
like
had
a
the little
punk
reggae
element.
guitar
Yeah,
parts too.
Yeah.
It's the up,
The fast reggae
the
guitar.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're doing
Yeah, the
double
Real
time
Big Fish.
reggae.
So I guess you're right.
The
Cherry Poppin'
offbeat.
Daddies didn't really have a punk element.
It was like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then there was who else was playing that show? It was Save Ferris,
Mighty Boss
Squirrel
Stones.
Nut Zippers.
Remember the Mighty Boss
I don't
Stones?
think they played that show, but it was the same.
Oh,
that
I
was
see.
the same.
Yeah.
They just broke up, by the way. Big news.
Oh, Boss Stones?
You heard it here first.
Earth
What the fuck was I
shattering.
talking- Oh yeah, Kid Rock.
Indeed.
So I fucking Kid Rock is playing that fucking show, and it's at Detroit actually, Warped Tour. And so fucking Kid Rock comes out, and do you guys remember he used to have that little person with him? His name was Joe C.
Joe
or whatever.
C.
Yep.
But at this time, we didn't know what the fuck was going on. We thought Joe C. was Kid Rock. So we were like, is that Kid
Because
Rock?
Kid, right?
Yeah,
Kid
exactly,
Rock. Oh, it's a
exactly.
kid. The guy looks like a kid. Must be him.
The way they did that show was like there was two stages next to each other, so it was like you just had to go back and forth between the stages, that setup.
Yep.
So we were like, I think actually waiting for the next band, trying to be really up close, but you could still like see the other stage.
You said this is Warped Tour?
Warped Tour, early Warped Tour is Warped Tour '98. I remember fucking we were waiting. It was like literally at like a parking lot, and there was like a parking garage. And we were waiting in line in the parking garage, and Chino was skateboarding. Chino from Deftones was like skateboarding around the crowd. Just saw fucking skateboarding and shit. Yeah, that was. I mean,
Deftones
was like,
one of my all-time favorite.
Yeah,
bands,
and that was
man.
around the
Fucking love those
fur. I
guys.
mean, that was like early. When they were just blowing up and shit.
That's still probably my favorite Deftones album, man. White Pony's great. They got a bunch of great albums, but man, that Around the Fur is just pretty raw, pretty awesome.
Deftones is the shit.
The one good thing to come out of the swing era, because I got super into it for 10 minutes like everybody else, but I scored a Benny Goodman record. Benny Goodman band, like old swing. That's good shit.
There was this thing, people were like, it literally became a thing where like kids, again, we're like 14-year-old kids would be like, yeah, I like swing, but I like real swing, 1940. Like it was be like that. Like I'm only listening to the Dorsey band. Tommy Dorsey's my thing. I don't care for this new swing. Like okay, now looking at it, it's so fucking funny how fucking stupid kids are. Yeah. It was such a short-lived comeback of weird shit.
Trend, fad.
But that Cherry Poppin' Daddies fucking record was actually great, and that's one of the. They talk about it and they're like, we were like not really even like trying to do that. We just like, we were kind of this band that had a couple songs that were like that. And that song blew up and it kind of like pigeonholed us. And it was like, it was one of those catch-22s where like they had this massive hit, but then they like couldn't ever do anything else ever again.
There's pressure to do it again.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy shit.
Yeah.
Cherry Poppin' Daddy's death metal album never really,
exactly.
really hit the way it should.
And they popped zero cherries. Zero cherries were popped.
I don't know, man. Those pinstripe suits, those big gangster hats, they're probably pulling some snatch back in the day, I would imagine.
The squirrel nut zippers.
Yeah,
you remember that?
I do. I do remember Squirrel
awful.
Nuts.
Kevin Haig, man, homie was all about some all that shit. He's a real big fish guy back.
Maybe that's what maybe we should change the sound and bring back fucking some swing, dude. It's time again.
Call Mocha Man.
Yeah, for real,
Sax.
Oh, we gotta get Mocha. Oh, I'm gonna get Mocha on this motherfucking podcast,
Mocha,
dude.
man.
Yeah, Mocha is the man. Shout out to Mocha. Yeah. He is so good, dude. Jesus Christ, that guy can play.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Good
He was
dude
like
all around.
when he came in and recorded for us, dude, he was like literally just off of death's door, dude. That motherfucker got COVID, was in the hospital for like a month.
Really?
And when he came in, you remember? And he was like, yeah, I just got out of hospital. Like, because I had emailed him when he happened to be in there. I'm like, yo, we got a track. You want to come in and play on this? And he got back to me, but he's like, yeah, I'm in the hospital right now. And he was like, he came in like masked up, and he was like, yeah, man, I lost like fucking 40 pounds. I've been fucking in the hospital I haven't touched my sax in 3 months or something.
Damn.
And then we hit record, and he's just like, just crushed.
Yeah,
He crushes like 6 takes in a row. It took like 15 minutes, and we were like, all right, I don't know what else we could possibly
We got
do.
everything we need, man.
Like, we got more than we need.
Yeah.
He's like, I got my other saxophone. You want me to try that? I'm like, I don't know what else could be done here.
He is a class act, dude.
Yeah. I guess he plays harmonica too, apparently.
Plays all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
He plays a little percussion too.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Great singer too.
Oh, is he?
He fronts.
I see that.
He fronts many bands. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a bad motherfucker.
He is.
Yeah, gotta get Mocha up in here.
For sure.
Yeah, I want to do I got fucking dreams of doing Man Eater and actually that's the direction I gave him on the song. He goes, what do you want? And I go Man Eater by Hall & Oates.
That totally fits.
I still got dreams of covering that song, you know? And I'm like, oh yeah, dude, because I got that fucking connection to like have him come in and do, because there's major saxophone in that song. The intro to that song, the proper song is like a minute of saxophone solo, and then there's a whole saxophone solo in the middle too.
Yeah.
So I gotta have it.
That song Man Eater fucking terrified me when I was like 5 years old.
We were,
I was in the car.
Literal.
Well, like we had a motorhome and it was like stored in some lot that's like, you know, just a big grassy field with a fence around it. And so my parents are going out there. I think we were getting ready to go on vacation or something. I'm like 5 or 6. I'm in the back seat of the car and it's dark because it's at night. And we get out to this place. There's no fucking lights on anything. And Man Eater was on the radio. And I'm in the dark in the back seat, just like, Man Eater's coming.
Oh, here she comes. Watch out, boy. That's me. I'm a boy.
In fairness, do you remember the Hall & Oates hair? It was horrifying. Yeah.
I love some Hall & Oates.
Yeah, was more of an Oates guy. I
love-
really felt that Oates got
Oates
the
never
proper
really-
recognition
yeah,
that he
he never really
deserved.
did
You
shit.
know?
I'm definitely a Hall guy.
Yeah. Did you catch Daryl Hall actually on yeah.
Club Random?
Yes.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah, that was an interesting conversation.
It was.
Yeah.
It
He was like kind of shitting on fucking John Oates a little bit.
a
Did you
little
catch
bit.
that,
He
dude?
was keeping his distance.
Yeah, wasn't
He's
he?
like, yeah, we work together, but we're totally
like-
not a
Yeah.
team.
He's like, yeah, but I wrote all that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wrote
we're
all
not a
that.
partner. Oh, which
like,
songs do you like?
okay.
Oh yeah, that's all me. No,
Uh-huh.
that's no Oates on that whatsoever.
And even Bill Maher was like, really? Like,
He's like, I mean, you guys are definitely business partners.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Well, okay, sure, business. That's it.
there was that thing.
Hall was being sure to keep his distance from.
Yeah, he
Oates.
really was.
Yeah.
It was a little awkward.
I
Right?
was like, damn.
Yeah. There was that thing where he's like, I don't know what Oates did, but Hall never had a hit without him, you know?
right. Yeah, I'll know.
pretty dead
He was
on.
pretty adamant
Yeah.
being boisterous.
Yeah,
about
it got
that.
a little uncomfortable there.
Yeah,
it was pretty funny.
Well, have you seen his show too, live at Daryl's house?
Yeah, I haven't seen all of it because it was on some rando network
I think
or
it was
whatever.
on like
HBO?
Palladia
No,
or
yeah,
VH1 or some shit. Yeah, Palladia.
But it
I
was
think.
awesome.
It was good.
And what a show to have. I'd love to have that show.
For real.
You know,
That's exactly what
the
I
dream
thought.
show.
When I'm
dude.
watching
Like,
that, I'm like, man, I wish I had a show like that. Just bring in a.
when I get my fucking studio full on eventually, that's what I'm saying. is
There
we
you
could do
go.
that.
So what was the whole
Yeah.
setup for this show? I've never actually
so
seen it before.
you know, Daryl Hall, rock star veteran, and so he's got this nice place like out in upstate New York somewhere, and every episode, he's got like a house band who's there, and the house band doesn't change, all top grade musicians, and every episode he brings in a guest like rock star or whatever, and it's like it can be a chick from the pop world or a guy from the rock world or whatever, and they just come in and they do half of their songs and then half of like Hall & Oates songs, like Daryl Hall songs,
and just jamming and whatever.
and they and then they like have a conversation, and then they jam another tune, and then like cook a meal together. I think, and they have a dinner and they tape that conversation too.
Yeah.
And so it's like music performance
awesome.
from both of their catalogs, music performance, and then they have a meal
So,
and a conversation.
Live from Daryl's house. Right?
Yeah,
It's
live from
called it,
Daryl's
yeah.
house. Yeah.
Have you guys seen?
But I got the vibe from Daryl Hall even watching that show that he's
kind of a dick.
He's kind of up his own ass. And
Yeah.
he's,
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. He's
That's
kind
kinda too bad.
Kind of a dick. But he's solid musician. Even still in his 70s, he still sounds good when he sings.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
So he has reason to be. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
He is a man eater.
He is a man eater. Watch out, boy. Here he comes.
I love that song though. That to me is the best Hall & Oates song there is.
There's a documentary on Netflix that I kind of want to watch, but I hate 2 of the 3 guys. Like it's this whole history of electric guitar and what it's meant to music and the different influences. But 2 of the 3 guys, it's like Jack White, I think.
Okay.
I don't like the White Stripes one fucking bit. I
I'm not
hate
a big
those guys.
Jack White fan.
And then the Edge from U2, who I also don't like. I think the third is Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
Is Jimmy Page still alive?
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's called It Might Get Loud.
Yes,
Yeah.
I've seen
Is
that
it
too,
good?
yeah.
Is it worth watching?
It's worth watching for sure.
It's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't a big fan of the White Stripes music.
Me either.
And but Jack White as a producer, as a music
as a
curator,
guy,
He did an album with Loretta Lynn.
he did.
Like, I don't know, 10 years ago or something.
He's a great
It was
producer.
great.
He's worked with Willie Nelson. He's worked with a lot of people. He's got a good thing going
He's kind
in
of a
Nashville.
stand-up guy too. You know what else he did? Is he just fucking saved that venue in Detroit. The fucking God damn, I fucking need to quit smoking weed.
Kobo or one?
No, the fucking
Is it like the Majestic or Magic Stick or one of those?
no, Jesus Christ, I can't believe I'm spacing this hard. The fucking Masonic Temple.
Oh, Masonic Temple.
Have you guys been to the Masonic Temple?
No,
venue
but
there?
I'm going to the Masonic Temple next month.
Jack White, it was going under. They were gonna close it in fucking COVID. Jack White stepped up, put a ton of money down, and they fucking revamped the whole thing, redid the whole stage, took the seats out and redid the seats and shit.
Sweet.
Redid the bathrooms that all needed to be redone and shit. He put like millions of dollars into saving that fucking place because it was just falling apart. And it's like a classic Detroit fucking venue, you know, and that place is unbelievably cool.
Yeah.
You know, you fucking go up to it and you're just like, oh,
Yeah, it looks
shit.
like Gozer's going to come out.
Seriously, dude, it's the fucking Masons. I can't believe I couldn't think of it. I'm sitting here looking at fucking books like, all right, I know I got 5 books on Freemasonry right here.
Yeah.
First time I ever was at that venue, we saw a perfect circle. And there was this fucking little guy working like the elevator in a tuxedo. And he looked like fucking like, I don't even know how to describe this motherfucker. He looked like something out of a David Lynch movie. And we were like, fuck, it was just creepy as fuck. But they were doing like tours of that place too. And you could buy a tour with Billy Howardell through the Masonic Temple. Wow. And we were like, man, we should have got on that tour. I know.
Jesus.
Yeah, but that place is fucking amazing. Like you wonder what the fuck is in that building because it's like many stories up. And you're like, okay, what have they fucking got in this place?
I can't wait to go. Yeah, I'm going to see Steve Vai there next month.
Yeah. It's a great venue, dude. You're going to have a blast. Yeah, that's where I was just saw Opeth and Mastodon. So I was just saying they played there. It's a phenomenal venue for sure.
Those type of old like gothic looking venues are so fucking fun, man.
Detroit
Hey, we talked about it before, but Aragon Ballroom in Chicago is like one of the sweetest venues I've ever been to. Love that place.
Yeah.
Radio City Music Hall.
Madison Square Garden. I mean, it's, you know,
old gothic stuff.
What's your favorite concert venue, you think? You guys got one?
I don't know.
Mike's always going to see the fucking obscure fucking
Smalls Bar in Hamtramck. That is the industrial goth bar. It fucking rules.
Indeed. Why aren't you booking us a show there, dude?
I don't know. I'm not good at talking to people.
Welcome to the industrial music scene. I don't know. I don't like talking to people.
I can relate.
Hole up in my basement with a black light on and run all my distortions on my synthesizers, make noise. Ultra loud volumes. Ooh. Just doing the fucking.
I love being by myself. I can relate.
Yeah, well, can't we all?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you working on there, Mr. Mike? You got about 5 pokers in the fire over here.
Yeah. I gotta mix that new song.
Yeah, you do.
I started playing with it, and then I didn't have motivation.
Great.
I'll get it done, in a couple weeks. I'm going on vacation next week. I'm going to be in Florida. I'm going to Disney.
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
What the fuck, Disney?
Yeah,
that's not fucking goth at all, dude. What are you doing?
No, we're gonna do the
after
after hours Halloween party at Disney, so it's a little goth.
Walking around the Harry Potter part of Universal, it's pretty gothic
Turning
in there.
your goth card here, my friend.
I've never been goth.
I know. Well, maybe a little.
I actually, when I was in high school, because I was all like rivet head, like wearing a leather jacket and chains and spikes and shit everywhere. And there's a bunch of like street punk dudes that were at the school I went to. They called me Gothic Dogma.
That's a great. That should be a band. And that's the other side projects. Talking about infinite side projects and shit. This is Gothic Dogma.
Play with Goth Minister.
Yeah, so we got another single. It's supposed to be coming out. It's done, but this fucking guy won't get off his ass. Apparently, he's going to fucking Disney now. Fucking trying to hook up with the princess down there and whatever instead of mixing our fucking song.
Got to prioritize, man. When the mouse calls, you answer.
The mouse.
It's gonna be a huge fucking song.
Speaking of rivets and heads, have you guys horror movie fans at all? You doing any like scary movies around Halloween time?
I've been watching a bunch of them.
Hey, I caught the new Hellraiser.
Whoa!
Uh-oh.
Hey, I was unexpected. Well, I know it's funny.
The new Hellraiser.
Barrel
trying
laughs.
to move that out of the fucking way.
Hellraiser's a barrel laugh.
It was pretty rad, man. The first and the whole thing wasn't like epic. I got through the first 10 minutes and I was almost texting you just like, this is going to be the greatest fucking movie ever made. That first 10-minute opening scene was just huge, but
It's a chick now, right?
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
Female lead. It was good shit.
I've heard about it. I've heard mixed things.
Everybody's talking
mostly
about it.
good things.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Not a earth shatter or anything.
Mm-hmm.
You guys seen that Terrifier shit or whatever? Is it Terrifier?
Yeah,
or
I just watched
Terrorizer?
Terrifier. Art the Clown.
Have you seen the new one though? I haven't seen the.
No, I haven't seen the new. I wasn't
People
that
are like
into the
puking and
first
shit.
one.
You catching this?
What
Everybody's
is
I've
talking
been
about?
reading about that.
It's
I don't know if
grossing
I'm gonna
people
watch
out.
Yeah, it's clearly just marketing. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, apparently people have like passed out in the theater and shit. It's like
What's
so
it called?
Terrifier or Terrorizer? or something?
Terrifier 2 is it's the
I've
sequel
never
to
heard of this.
Terrifier.
That clown guy. So you saw it then?
Yeah,
the
we
first
watched
one?
it. There's a bunch of industrial nerds I know that are all huge fans of it, and I was not impressed, and so
Oh, okay, fair.
yeah, it was okay. It was just a bunch of slasher shit.
Right, indeed. I've seen. We watched. Did you watch the movies with us in high school? Or not? Jesus Christ, I am fucking retarded today.
Me, you, and Skoke, dude, going
In
through
college,
like the 10 most fucked up
Yeah.
horror movies of all time.
Yeah, the
Jesus
list.
Christ.
Yeah, the top 10 most fucked up movies ever made, basically, and we went
Cannibal
through them all.
Holocaust. fucking-
The most fucked up shit, dude. Fucking what was the one about the Japanese, the Man Behind the Sun, which is about Japan surrendering after World War II.
I don't know that I remember that.
The
I
most
thought
one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen. Cannibal Holocaust.
there was
Mortem.
the one with like Jesus Christ, August Underground's Mortem.
Yeah.
Dude. Oh,
A lot of these are literally banned in the states.
Okay.
Like you can't even watch them.
really
see.
did a deep dive into these things.
Oh,
I
jeez.
have
There was
seen
one
shit
called
for weeks.
Irreversible, which was a either Italian or French movie, and it's starring Monica Bellucci and Vincent Cassel, who are both big. You know who those people are? They're actually married.
Matrix. You ever see Matrix? Monica Bellucci is like
She's the chick in Matrix, or one of them. Yeah,
Matrix 2.
Oh.
it is. There's a fucking the movie's unbelievable how they put it together. It's called Irreversible, and it goes through this whole crime from like back to forward. So that's like the thing of the movie. It's done in reverse. But there's the whole thing is though. All that is to say, there's this fucking rape scene that goes on for like 15 minutes in this movie.
Jesus.
It is the most punishing thing. It still fucking haunts me.
I
dude.
bet.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm trying to get this guy to watch. I don't know if you guys have seen Nocturnal Animals with
Yeah, it
Jake
gets-
Gyllenhaal.
That's what turned me
I
off.
have
It gets
seen
too
that.
it's
rapey.
fucking
dude. I can't
brilliant. Yeah, I
handle
know
it.
that's
Yeah.
your kind of anti.
That is
thing.
uneasy.
It's a brilliant
Yeah,
movie.
it
though,
is
dude.
great.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ,
it
it's
is
so
It's
good. Man.
way too difficult to masturbate to. I try, I try.
There was that one
May I join you?
with those fucked up horror movies, dude. There was that one. It was a Japanese flick, I want to say, or maybe a Korean movie, and it was like 6 or 8 shorts. One of which was that Dumplings. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you remember that one?
Yeah,
dude?
Dumplings. I own the whole movie. I have that on DVD.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, that
Okay.
doesn't. That's not in that top 10. That's actually a great movie.
Well, I think no,
about
but
a-
like whatever short that I don't know if it was cut ups or what, but like that movie that had a bunch of shorts in it was one of the flicks in that top 10.
It's
Maybe
not. We were just in
too.
that mode at that time,
Okay.
and this was in some. They were making some series, but that movie is about. It's a Japanese horror movie, which I went down that huge train, which is about fucking. They go and they have abortions, and then they fucking chop up the unborn fetuses and feed it to rich Japanese women who are trying to stay young or whatever. And they make it into dumplings. Hence the title of the movie, Dumplings. And as fucked up as all that is, which is incredibly fucked up, and obviously it's actually a really good movie. Like, it's really well done.
And they look delicious. I mean, don't watch that shit on an empty stomach.
I wouldn't turn down any dumplings.
A little soy sauce,
Yeah.
little wasabi.
You don't need to know how it's made.
Yeah.
I also caught this movie, I think it was from like 2015-ish, called The Witch, which is on HBO right now.
The Vitch or whatever. With
Yeah,
the
the Vitch,
yeah. That was. I just watched that. That was great.
I love that.
I've been meaning to watch that, and I haven't got
It
around
wasn't
to it
especially
yet.
scary, but it was so well
Great
done,
movie.
man. Yeah.
His follow-up just came out. Have you seen that? It's Jesus Christ. It's got huge names in it too. It's like
The Northman?
Yes, The Northman. It's like
I need to see that still. Yeah,
That's that guy's follow-up.
Yeah.
Like, it's not out yet.
He had
is
a
it?
bunch of great
Nicole
shit
Kidman?
right in a
no,
row.
It's out.
Northman?
Skarsgård is Alexander
Yes.
Skarsgård.
Yes,
that's
in that
right.
too, I
Nicole
think?
Kidman. The people from the Vitch are in it too, but they're much smaller roles. And I actually, while I was watching it, I actually literally pieced it together. I was going, this is the fucking guy that made that movie. I was like, I could tell that. I was like, that guy
It
was
just
in
feels
it.
the
And
same.
that guy was in it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and it's kind of the same,
Made
like
the
weird
same.
historical,
Yeah.
weird
It's a period piece.
Yeah, it was like
period piece, weird
1700s
language,
Puritan
yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
That movie was fucking
I think
great.
he also did a movie which I've never seen, but I started to do a deep dive after I watched that. I was like, oh, I got to catch some more shit from this guy. I don't know if it's called The Lighthouse or something, but yeah.
Oh my
Black
God.
and white with
I didn't know that was him. That's
Yeah.
Willem
I
Dafoe
haven't
and
seen that
Robert
movie. I hear it's
Pattinson,
great.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
correct.
Have you seen that?
Oh, Lighthouse is amazing.
Killer? Yeah.
It is good.
It's insanity.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's like it's slow because it's all black and white. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah.
quiet.
Well, so's The
but
Witch. That's his
man,
whole
you get some
thing,
really just insane Defoe, like just
He's-
going out of his
Which is the
mind.
best.
He's the
It's
best
so-
at that.
And
Yeah.
some cosmic horror. It's pretty good.
Dude,
Jazz
you
pulling
know
through
what?
with a huge J right now. By the way, I was out and I was like, "Fuck, I don't got any fucking."
I had a
smoke.
feeling we'd be needing that.
Yeah.
A great Defoe flick, oldie but a goodie. Have you guys seen The Deer Hunter?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I
The
haven't.
fucking
No.
Oh, that's like a
4-hour
classic.
epic,
That's a classic
dude. Oh
movie,
man, Defoe.
I hated it at the time.
Christopher
but I was so
Walken.
young,
I loved it, man. It was intense.
Yeah, it was right there. I also hated fucking. What's the the fucking squeal like a pig rape movie.
Oh, Deliverance.
I hated
Oh,
Deliverance.
That's a great
yeah.
flick
hated
too,
it.
man.
But again, like I was like 14 when I saw.
I was gonna
it.
say, yeah, I saw that super young,
Yeah.
and I think we were like, I don't know what we were doing. It was like a group of dudes, and we're like sitting around like partying while we're
Squealing like a
watching
pig.
it. So I didn't
Yeah,
pay attention
exactly,
a lot.
yeah.
And
Oh man, I
you
hated
got
that
pretty
fucking movie.
lips.
yeah, you got pretty mouth, boy. Something
John
like that.
Voight.
Take
John-
off
Yeah,
them bridges.
right.
Take off them bridges.
You know this
Yeah.
is John Voight's convertible.
Oh yeah, what's so
Seinfeld.
special about this car? John Voight owned it. The John Voight.
Didn't John Voight spell his name Jon? Yeah. What's your point?
My wife and I are rewatching
love-
all the Seinfelds.
Yeah,
and
man, I
we
love that you love
just
Seinfeld.
we just
dude.
passed that one not too long ago, like a
Nice,
month ago.
nice. I was
So that
rewatching
one's
them
fresh.
too. I've only got through like 3 seasons, but
God,
we
I
got
love
so
it.
much in common, dude. It's
God, I
so
love it.
funny, man.
It's that series. I didn't realize it, but it starts kind of slow. Like the first season and a half is not that
it's
great.
different,
First couple
yeah.
seasons.
Yeah.
are a little
It's not that great, and then it
They're
really.
getting their footing.
Yeah.
It was brand so new, so different.
Yeah,
you
and
know,
you're
like-
right. Very
yeah.
different for the time, and
Yeah,
they finally
yeah.
got a rhythm going around season 3.
I think you can make
It's
an
genius.
argument
Agreed.
that might be the greatest show ever made, dude. It might be the best show ever made.
Yeah,
it
you
still
could make
holds
that
up.
argument.
It's still that funny.
Little
I've seen
something for
every
everyone in there,
episode
you know?
fucking 30
And, like,
times, and it's
How many
still
times
great,
it's been
man.
aired, and so if you even like went from like just metrics of like to how many times it's been aired, how many shows are derivative of it,
Yeah.
Right.
all that kind of shit. It is one of the best shows ever. Fucking.
Another underrated nowadays, like not back in the day, obviously, but comedy shows that you can make an argument might have been the best show ever and well ahead of its time. I was a bit like, even when I was little, I fucking love me some MASH, man.
Oh, MASH,
MASH
is
is
great.
great.
Love
Great
MASH.
show. God,
MASH
it was a
is
show.
great. MASH is timeless.
Radar.
Radar.
Yeah. Have you ever seen the movie?
No. What?
The movie is what the show is based on. It was a movie first.
Oh.
It's starring, and the only actor who's the same is the guy who plays Radar. It is starring Donald Sutherland. Is
Alan Alda's character?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it's also good. It's a little different, but it's got the actual theme with the words. You know that famous theme song called "Suicide is Painless." You know, actually, you know that theme song?
I did not know the title, but
well, that is 'cause suicide is painless.
Wow.
It takes on many faces.
I did
You
not
don't know that song?
Okay.
And I can take all evening if I try.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.
It's painless unless you flub it, dude. I was just,
don't botch it.
Richard Jenny, the comedian, I think blew his head off, but it didn't take right away.
Did he? I knew he killed himself, but
Yeah, I didn't know that.
yeah,
Jesus.
You don't want to botch it.
yeah, you really don't. Are you guys into any kind of like UFO shit? You guys fucking soaking in any UFO kind of shit or anything?
I mean, I don't dive into it, but I have a general position, like it's mathematically extremely, like it has to be people out there. It's just a matter of, because the distance that the universe takes up, if any civilization, can exist long enough to get somewhere else,
you're talking about like the statistic probability.
Statistically, of course, other intelligent life has to exist.
Are you guys watching? You catch up on any unsolved mysteries at all? The new unsolved mysteries on Netflix. You guys seen this shit at all?
Oh, those are new episodes?
I've seen the trailer, yeah.
So they've made a new Unsolved Mysteries, which is, it's produced by the same people, but it's also made like with Netflix, and it's not, there's not a host and voiceover and stuff. It's made like modern documentary true crime style, where it's all interviews. There's no narration.
No narrator?
So, and each episode is an hour long, where original Unsolved Mysteries was like 3 or 4 stories per show.
Yeah.
And they were only 40 minutes long.
Yeah, it was multiple segments with commercial breaks.
It's their deep dive into these new Unsolved Mysteries. So
it's one case per episode.
Correct. Yeah. And there's like 3 seasons deep now, but there's probably only maybe like 14 episodes. And there's not a ton of them. It's great though. Check it out. The new shit, they just dropped 3 new episodes. The second one of the 3 is a UFO episode, which that's what I love about Unsolved Mysteries, is that it can go in all these different directions, right? A lot of it's true crime and whatever, but it takes place, this story, in Muskegon, Michigan, and Grand Haven and Holland, so the UFO sighting kind of goes down the lakeshore like that. And it's about the weather guy who was working in the Muskegon weather, I don't know what you call it, weather station, basically, though, like the actual, like,
talking Bill Steffen here. We talking
not like the news, like actual, like, like U.S. weather station, like, and he was the junior guy, so he's working the night shift, right? So he's like 25 at the time or whatever. He's out of college, wanted to be a weather guy his whole life, whatever. And so he's, as a junior guy, you get shafted into working the fucking night shift, right? And it's the middle of February. He's fucking chilling there, just literally doing nothing. He's by himself. You work solo. Like, he's like, there's no weather happening. It's a clear night. It's February in Michigan. It's like 29 degrees or something like that. It's cold as balls, but it's super clear. And he gets a call from fucking 911 dispatch in Muskegon. And they're like, hey, this is 911 dispatch. How you doing tonight? He's like, great. What's up? He's like, you guys got a radar there, right? And he's like, yeah, we got a radar. This is the weather station, And he's like, well, we've gotten about 60 phone calls in about some, weird things happening in the skies right now or whatever. And they're like, yeah, nobody wants to say UFO, especially at the time. This was 1994. And he fucking gets on his fucking radar, dude, and fucking cues it up. And he fucking starts pinging these things immediately. They're real things. They're solid things. They're highly reflective. Like, they can tell on radar how reflective shit is and stuff. And he follows these things for like better part of an hour while he's on the phone with 911 dispatch, meaning the call is being recorded because it's 911, right? Yeah. So fucking, it's just, he's losing his shit. He's like, as a scientist, I never thought I would see anything like this, and so like he doesn't know what to make of it, whatever, the whole thing. And then he essentially gets driven out of his job. Like, because of this incident that happens, he kind of becomes known as like the UFO guy, and everybody's like making fun of him or whatever, and which is crazy because he's just like, he doesn't even like go that hard on it. He's just like, I don't know what this is. I'm following it on the radar. Yeah. He literally has to leave Michigan to maintain a position in, being a scientist in the weather field. He gets a job in fucking Atlanta or some shit, and he spends like the next 20 years down in Atlanta doing his job. Retires, and then when all this shit starts coming out with fucking all this like the Tic Tac UFO and fucking all this new shit coming out, Congress is fucking having hearings about it. Shit.
Like the Navy saw that stuff.
Yeah. He fucking comes back up to Michigan, and that's kind of what the show really is like following him. Comes back up to Michigan, and he starts talking to people that saw it. They're interviewing people that saw it, because there's literally like 100 witnesses like on record, let alone all the people that didn't call in, Yeah. And then so it's like that. I don't know. It's just kind of following this one guy's story about like him kind of like reconciling what the fuck happened to him. He talks to the MUFON people, the Mutual UFO Network, which is like the big investigative body. And all this shit. It's fucking awesome, man.
Damn. What's your take on all that Tic Tac stuff? Like, I know there's all sorts of theories about that. Rogan's always going off. Do you think it's something? Do you think it's like a man-made?
Did you watch the video?
Well, yeah, but like some kind of man-made
Very difficult to masturbate to, but I made it. I made it yourself, there. Man. And the thing about it is, it's only like, it's only like 20 seconds. So like, you really got to get to it.
Yeah. Challenge accepted.
No, that's the whole thing about it. It's so undeniable that they're talking about it in fucking Congress.
But do you think it's an alien thing, or you think it's a man-made thing?
That you can't. There's no answer to that. But it's like, it's definitely technology that we should not have. So if it is man-made, then it's so far advanced from what we think is.
I don't know, man. They got Elon Musk toiling away in the back room, fucking cooking away at some stuff Starlink, in his spare time.
Dude. I don't know. That's it. But you see how it goes underwater and shit?
Yeah, it's out of control, man.
That's why Blink-182's back together.
Yeah, well,
why ticket price so high? Tom needs the money to go do some research.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. It is hilarious how like the guy from Blink-182 ends up being like, and it is funny, and absolutely you should make fun of him, but it's also, he actually brought a lot of that shit to the fucking forefront.
Yeah.
Was him and his organizations that the fuck is the fella's name? I'm gonna space on his
Travis Barker.
No. Luis Valdez, or I forget his name, but anyway, fucking Tom DeLonge, dude. It's just so preposterous to think about that the guy from Blink-182 literally quit one of the biggest bands in the world to go chase Bigfoot, and you're just like, I don't know. He kind of got to respect it.
Yeah, absolutely.
They had that song "Aliens Exist."
Is that one of their tunes?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can't remember what album it was on.
A foreshadowing there.
Like when Travis Barker was on Rogan, he was like, dude, we would just be on the bus and Tom would just be going off about fucking UFOs and shit. And it's just like, because Tom DeLonge, also a well-known stoner, he's smoking bags of weed, dude.
Yeah.
Going on. He was high constantly. Did you ever see the clips of him like on like Leno or something, or Conan or one of those things, dude? Like, oh my god, dude! Like in the peak of Blink-182, he is blitzkrieg. Dude. It's so funny. Man. Yeah, man. I don't know. I love that shit. Obviously, you see all these fucking books behind you and shit. I was deep into the fucking UFO shit for a long time. But I was right when that episode came on. It's Muskegon. I was like,
yeah.
Bunch of fucking nerds too, And part of it too, dude. They fucking there was some couple was doing winter camping on the beach. So it's February. They got all their winter camping gear. It's a thing, People do this shit, and they reported that they woke up in the middle of the night and they saw like a couple 100 yards out a fucking tower of water being like sucked up. Like imagine seeing a waterfall in the middle of the lake going the wrong direction. A reverse waterfall, a pillar of water in the middle of the fucking lake. And they fucking freaked the fuck out as you would.
Right, as one would.
Yeah, but so there's all this speculation in the show that like, well, maybe these things were there to like collect water or
it was Nestle.
Like
right.
Yes! Oh, yes, sir. Indeed. Yes, there was indeed. Man. Because in Lake Michigan at the time, that night, it was like the whole lake was frozen until you got just south to like Muskegon. And then there was like, it was frozen out for a while, but there was still like open water in the middle of the bottom of Lake Michigan. So it was the only open water like in the area. And that's where these fucking things were. And they were like out over this fucking open water in like this triangle and shit. So
turns out the sighting was by Aqueduct and he was just roasted out of his gourd, bro. Oh yeah, man. I was out there surfing by the pier and they I saw these water spigots come up, man.
We used to
know this dude that
weed from
yes. He was the local weed dealer and he's this legendary Michigan surfer, right? So and he's real spaced out and he's always talking about these hits from 70 years ago Rolling Stones tour of acid that he still got from like 72 or something.
He was Tommy Chong. Like looked like him. Looked like
him.
Dead.
Always drinking Kesslers and water. Nothing but Kesslers and water out of Dixie cups, dude. So this cat, he's always telling these tall tales. And he's like, I'm a legendary surfer around here, man. Everybody knows me. And he's like, I'm actually in this new movie now, this new documentary coming out. We're like, yeah, Aqueduct, sure thing, sure you are. But he's like, no, it's Step into Liquid. Do you remember? Did you ever watch
it was a legit documentary?
It might have been a sequel. It might have been 2 or something.
No, it's the one.
But yeah, this fucking guy who he assumed is just stoned out of his gourd.
It turns out he actually was a legendary surfer who was in California for all these years and shit. He had surfboards up on his wall and shit. And
he's like a legend of Lake Michigan surfing, dude.
Yeah,
close pier shit. Super interpro. You kind of had to know the guy, but Jesus Christ.
And then he ended up running a waterbed store. And years before I met the guy in that capacity, I went and bought parts for my waterbed from him. Again, when I was like 13, 14. And even at that time, I went in, it was like the pump broke on my waterbed or something. I had to go get a different one. Even at that time, my brother drives me over. He had just got his license. Like, that's about the age we were. I go in and I get this fucking thing and I leave and I'm like, that guy's fucking like selling drugs. Like, there's no way this fucking guy is like making money.
Should we
off
be
of
censoring this, by the way? Should we be not blowing up?
Everybody knows awkward. Everybody knows. It could be less secret. I don't even know if he's still alive, dude.
We used to go over there for hours, dude, and we would get shit-faced, just smoked. He used to roll up Hojo Mojos, and that was how you know you were in like the cool Bob Club, dude. He used to call them Hojo Mojos, man. It's an individually smoked joint,
a personal joint.
Oh, these little tiny personal joints that you just smoke
little
here.
Pinners.
So we go over there, just get blasted, play euchre till 5 a.m. and watch Pistons. It was in the Pistons heyday, like 03, 04, dude.
Oh yeah.
That
just
was
like wrecked.
Like Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like the Chauncey Tayshaun.
Have you guys seen that fucking
Wallace.
shit? Yeah. Have you guys seen that fucking movie that's out now though? That's about they call it the Redeem Team, where it's like because the fucking U.S. like lost the gold a couple Olympics in a row. And they had to put together a fucking new team because we dominated for like 100 years, basically.
Before that.
Yeah. Did you see it? Did you watch this shit?
I added it to the queue after you talking about it, but I was a big fan of Olympic basketball.
It was fucking awesome. And then Chauncey and fucking who was the real fucking skinny dude? Tayshaun Prince was fucking.
Tayshaun's my guy.
Yeah, they were both on that team, and they were kind of almost like, I don't want to say like junior, but they were kind of like, not even the starters. And you think about how good those guys were, dude. But yeah, it was fucking LeBron and Dwayne Wade.
Detroit basketball, baby.
Yeah.
Been a hot minute.
dominated though for those like 4 years or whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't remember. That was like
the game we invented in the U.S. We've got the best athletes in the world.
Yeah.
We've been playing it for longer than everybody. Like, it was a disgrace when those teams lost. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, they took bronze one year and
Playing a bunch of against a bunch of 6'1" Serbians over here.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. They talk about how it exploded worldwide. So like there was all these dominant
the original
basketball
Dream
teams.
Team. Yeah, dude, it made it so big, dude. Those guys were on every fucking McDonald's cups, dude. Like the Dream Team was the most well-known team. Yeah, then it's exploded all over.
And then the one that was, I think it was the one in China. Like none of these dudes wanted to go because it was like super fucking sketch, and like they stayed on a cruise ship docked. And at a dock, so they weren't even like in like the Olympic Village or like with, and it was like nobody wanted to go. Like Shaq didn't want to go, So like they had this kind of like, it's wild. It's a fucking phenomenal movie though. You guys need to watch this shit. I'm not a big sports guy, but even I was like, fuck that.
What's it called?
The Redeem Team or something like that. Might be called something else, but you can't miss it, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all about, a lot of it's about LeBron and Kobe mostly.
Right on.
Yeah. Yeah. They tried to get Kobe for an interview, but he didn't want to. Could not be reached. Kobe could not be reached for comment.
He did not return their call.
So was Kobe like, was he accused of rape or something back in the day, or am I misremembering this?
He was accused of rape by this lady in Colorado.
Okay.
Yep.
And he was a real prick back in the day and shit, right? Because I remember
I believe they settled out of court.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, he banged her again.
Bought his wife an enormous ring. He really did. Yeah, it was a whole story.
Because when he died, I was like, I don't want anybody to die, but I remember everybody was like so like, oh, Kobe, oh. And it was like, I thought this guy was like universally thought of as like a piece of shit. But a lot of what this movie is about is actually like that, him being on that team was like the time that like he pivoted essentially, or that like he kind of like redeemed himself and like became.
Well, he was
like,
trying to rebuild that image like a motherfucker after all that.
Yeah. And that's what a big part of being on that team was about and all that shit. But like, yeah, I was like, am I like, because again, not being a sports guy, I'm like, am I misremembering? I thought everybody hated this guy. Like,
well, it's the same thing with Mike Tyson.
Just a basketball legend, his points are just.
He was so good, dude.
And Mike Tyson was convicted. And now he's,
Mike
this
Tyson
like
is
beloved
a horrible
character,
Now he's a beloved.
Hangover movies,
beloved, dude.
One man show.
He has
shit.
totally like a second life now.
But what about that?
He has a
thing,
podcast.
Come on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's on the biggest podcast. His whole weed company.
Yeah,
all that shit, dude. Yeah, it's stupendous. I
had the black and sea bath. It was stupendous.
I don't know. I'd probably talk to Mike Tyson if it came down to it, though. If he wanted to come on the podcast,
he's got to have some stories.
I would imagine.
He has some stories that just destroy
he
your mind.
Oh,
well, now he's always going off because he tried that 5-MeO DMT, like the toad venom psychedelic, that you've kind of heard about, which is a real thing. And it's supposed to be the most powerful psychedelic in the world.
Wow.
So he took that a couple times, like had this revelatory experience, and then just became like this totally different dude the last couple years. It's wild,
yeah.
I'm born again. You try to
born again.
With
the DMT.
Yeah.
It's stupendous. So which one do you guys want to talk about? Megadeth, or do you want to talk about Dave Mustaine?
Those are your two completely different, unrelated topics.
Man, I remember back in, was it the 92 election or the 96 election? I can't remember. But it's back in the 90s, and Dave Mustaine was on the campaign trail for MTV News as the political correspondent.
Wow.
And he was like at the Democratic convention or something, like trying to like grill people, and it was just like screaming the most unhinged shit at whoever he could corner.
Wow. We gotta look that shit up.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
I would love to see it. They need to put him on the fucking campaign trail today. Like, why is he not America's correspondent? He should have his own political show. I mean, that's what his whole fucking shtick is, really, The thing is, when you listen to Mustaine talk, though, it's also, he's kind of a fucking idiot. You know, it's like a lot of these rock stars. You know, it's like the mythology goes away, and you're like, oh, he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he's definitely a dick.
Yeah. Also, yeah, just not that. Oh, is that my cat trying to get in? You can let him in if you want. I didn't hear that. Yeah, he's just being an idiot. He likes to make his appearance. Making his appearance on the show.
You got to scream at him like Kevin Smith used to scream at his dog Shecky on his way back on his podcast on Smodcast. He just like scream at his dog, this like high pitched like shrill shriek.
I never caught his podcast or his. He does those speaking tours and shit. It's kind of like the same thing, right?
Yeah, because he started doing it live, and but originally it's like him and his producer. And there were some fucking funny episodes, man. There's a Harry Potter episode that I was just crying. Like, my stomach hurt. I was laughing so hard.
Nice.
Just talking about Gandalf with 20 wands up his butt.
Are you guys watching that fucking new, that shit, the Rings of Power shit? We've talked about that a little bit on here, too.
It's pretty good.
It's been recommended to me, but I haven't watched it.
Are you guys the Lord of the Rings fans and all? You guys getting down on
I enjoy Lord of the Rings fans. I just realized I just pissed off all the Harry Potter fans. So,
Harry Potter stinks, dude.
You
heard it here first.
Find another book.
I've still only seen the first Harry Potter and no other ones.
I've seen like maybe the first 3 or something like that, and that was not by fucking...
It didn't pique my interest.
No. I don't know. No.
I was enjoying Rings of Power. It started a little slow, but I don't know. I never read the Silmarillion, so I don't really give a shit about what's canon.
I read it once. I've read the Lord of the Rings a lot, but that fucking the Silmarillion I only read once, and I remember very little of it. So like I don't even know that I'd be able to like say anymore, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're like taking that, which is this very like arcane, weirdly written, poetic, you know, vague book.
The Bible.
Yeah, it's a Bible. It's a Bible of elven lore, you know.
Right.
And then you like try to put dialogue to it for in 2022, you know. It's just kind of like I don't know how good you can make that.
I think I'm all set.
Yeah. Some people have said they like it. So I don't know. I looked at a couple stills and stuff, and I'm like, eh. But and like the Lord of the Rings movies, the original trilogy is like that's my shit, dude. I'm a huge fan of those.
That was the greatest moment in cinema in my life.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
The
Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, The Hobbit not so much.
I kind of feel the opposite way. I kind of think the Hobbit movies were a little bit better than the Lord of the Rings.
Really?
I got so mad at the second Hobbit movie. I didn't watch the third one.
No, it's a terrible call. They were awful.
Sorry.
No.
Yeah, and I like apparently the bad Dream Theater album also.
They were.
I thought the Hobbit movies were fine. I mean, it's no Lord of the Rings, but they were decent. Everybody shat on them to such a huge degree, like universally. It was fine.
They're so long, and there's so many. All of it's like none of this is in this book, and it's just like made up. Like they were okay, you know, but like
I guess maybe that's what it is because I didn't read any of the books. So
yeah, I really think that is what it is.
I'm not a Tolkien.
It's not that long. It's not that long of a book, and like they're just shoehorning in Legolas and shit, and it's just like okay, like
I see.
All right,
they were bailing on that Orlando Bloom after
you know?
Yeah,
like,
they want the star power. We can afford him, so hey, you know, put it in there.
Yeah, I don't know. It got a little cheesy too. They also shot it in like some kind of ultra high resolution shit. You guys heard about that? How they made those movies? They're like twice as high resolution as normal cinema or whatever. And like but that's what gives like cinema its like depth. There's a blur to it and a background, and that's what gives it its dreaminess and its, you know, like this quality of what makes it look like it's cinema, right? And so like that was kind of like all sharpened out, and so it's like almost like too well made, like it loses its like dreaminess, you know, or something like that. So yeah, I don't know, they had some new ultra high res cameras that nobody'd ever used before and shit that he was using and shit.
It's very sharp.
Yeah, but I remember like the spider scene though was like they're in like the Mirkwood Forest or some shit and fucking like fighting all the spiders. You guys remember that scene?
I do.
Yeah, I remember that being fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good shit. Lord of the Rings is probably like I feel like the first Lord of the Rings might be my favorite movie ever. The first
one is really good.
Yeah. It's up there between that and Fight Club. What's your favorite movie? Oh, man.
Fight Club is awesome. My favorite movie. Give me a minute. Pass the horn.
Tombstone.
Really? Wow. That's a huge answer. Are you fucking with me here right now?
No, I mean, I could probably like pick off a list of like 10 things. That
was the most out of nowhere answer I could have ever expected, especially from you, dude.
But tell me that's not one of the best fucking movies you've ever seen.
Love the movie.
Everybody in that is amazing.
Was not expecting you to.
That is good. That is good.
It is an amazing movie. Have you guys seen the new Top Gun? Anybody here?
No.
Nobody's seen that yet? I haven't either. Like,
I had to sit
here. Great fun, man.
They had like a 15-minute long preview trailer for it that you had to sit and watch before Doctor Strange 2. And it's like this bizarre, like, Tom Cruise jerking himself off. Like,
well, that's what it all is, right?
It's like
the Tom Cruise
I
show.
can't even describe it. It was so fucking weird. And I'm like, what am I watching? It's like he's just blowing up all these, or not really blowing up, but he's like beating all his students and jet fighting and laughing maniacally. And I'm like, this is...
In fairness, bro, who you got over Tom Cruise in a jet fight, man?
Well,
that's true.
Yeah.
That's the number one seed right there, boys.
It was...
Everybody
but they didn't show a lot of the jet fighting.
That.
They mostly just showed Tom Cruise's face reacting.
Indeed. Everybody that's seen it loves it. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I don't know anybody who's been like, it sucked.
My brother hated it.
All right.
I didn't ask you for any clarification.
Yeah.
He just texted me out of the blue one day. He was like, don't see new Top Gun. Fucking sucks.
That's what I'm saying. I want somebody to be like, it fucking sucked and throw down on it. Like, why did it suck, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen that shit yet. But it's got Jennifer Connelly in it, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan of her. She's fucking awesome.
Real unfortunate lack of Kelly McGinnis, though.
Dude, she's like 400 pounds. You seen her?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, I did see a picture of her.
You know what I watched the other day that I haven't seen since I hadn't seen it since I was probably like 8 years old or something. I forget when it came out, but Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie holds up. That's a great film.
Yeah, I've only seen it actually once, which is sad to say, and it was on TV many years ago. So, but people love some fucking Roadhouse.
Yeah.
What's the guy with the mustache?
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah. Sam Elliott.
Kicking ass, taking names.
I just like the whole concept that there's this like universe of bouncers.
right.
Everybody knows these like legendary bouncers from all the bars.
Indeed. Yeah, and how do you break into that? Like forget trying to play music, dude. How do you get into the bouncer?
I don't know, man. How do you get to be the cooler?
I'm
cooler.
Just be big.
I think you got to be in a lot better shape than all of us to do that.
Yeah.
Step one.
The cooler.
That was his title.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the cooler, and like all the bouncers were underneath the cooler, and so like when it got out of hand, he had to step in.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
You make $8,000 a year. You live with your mother still. Like,
they also call the cooler somebody who like when the tables get hot in Vegas and somebody's winning a bunch of money, they send in like a weird personality.
William H. Macy.
There's
a William H.
Macy. He cools the table.
Yeah.
He cools the guy's hot run. Yeah. Yes. That movie. That's kind of that. Yeah.
What's it called?
The Cooler.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying. It's like another. Yeah, that shit's out of control. Think about that, dude. That's your job is to like. I don't even know. You just got to be so awkward and lame that you just go to a table. That was kind of it, right? That was the plot. Like. So I'd probably be pretty good at it.
Just sit down in your bed. It's doing terrible news stories. Hey, I got this one about Sandy Hook.
Oh, you don't want to go there. Fucking A, what's he got in charge? Fucking they're trying to get him to pay close to $1 billion.
$965 million.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Alex Jones.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's a lot of cash.
It is.
Yeah, that's out of control.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to hurt, so it's hurting him.
Is it?
I mean, you're probably right. He can.
That's a problem.
I'm sure he can afford it, but it's
InfoWars
is
still going. There's going to be some billionaires. They're going to throw money at him to keep him afloat.
Man. Yeah, I don't know what to think about that fucking guy. He's too much. Jesus Christ.
I don't really think about him all that much.
I think you do.
There's an episode of Alex Jones that had Neil Fallon from Clutch on it. And because Clutch has like Escape from the Prison Planet and all these like lyrics about conspiracy theory shit, and Alex is like, yeah. And so Alex is like grilling him about, like, oh yeah, you're a true believer, right? Like me, you're a true believer. And Neil's just sitting there. I'm more of a moderate, Alex. I don't really believe any of that. we just listen to your show while we're driving in the van because we're bored and it's the middle of the night in California.
Yeah, he's on that fucking what was that movie? Never mind. I'm fucking stoned as shit right now. What are you guys fucking doing? What are you guys doing? You got gigs coming up and shit, or you've been playing in your fucking?
I'm playing a cider mill tomorrow.
Nice,
and an acoustic gig.
Nice. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And what the fuck are you up to, dude? How's fucking
Man, I've had like the worst fucking month at work.
Wow, that good, huh?
And it's just been like chaos. And I'm finally getting my like really cool fucking weird utility module that I shipped off to Scotland back like 3 months later.
Why do you have to bring the Scottish into this?
Because I don't know. I emailed the guy that built the module and I was like, hey, the screen died. And he's like, oh, reach out to this music shop. And I'm like, okay.
Huh.
That's good. I just want someone to repair it. And then
they come highly recommended.
Yeah, it sat there for like 3 months and then they're finally like, oh, we finally heard back from the repair guy and the part it needs is back ordered like way into 2023, so we'll sell you a back stock one that's refurbished for like $200.
Didn't you just get some new fucking some new synth though or something?
I bought some other modules because I just needed more stuff while I was waiting for that one to come back.
Yeah.
I had to fill the hole. So
yeah.
That whole fucking rack you got though, with all those fucking modules and shit. It's like up over here. It's fucking just lights and shit. What is it? Does it do more than light up?
Yeah, it makes some noises. I was going through some recordings I took out of it and like chopping samples out of it and shit, making new instruments and drum kits and stuff out of weird noises and sounds.
Do you have like
That's cool.
a particular like era of synthesizer that's like your go-to? Like some people like Prophet sound or like. Is there like a certain?
I really like a lot of like FM and wavetable stuff that's got like metallic like.
What's a wavetable?
Man, how nerdy do you want this to get?
Just
Everyone's gonna fall asleep.
They already are. I want to know.
Like a wavetable. It's like a wave file that's like a bunch of sections. It's like a mini database of single cycle waveforms, and then you can sweep through those. So you get like these like.
Is that how it gets
sounds.
like chopped up? Like they chop it up?
Yeah.
So that's why they call it a wavetable, like a wave file. Is that the same instance of that word?
Yeah.
No, it's like,
or like
it's like a table of a bunch of wave files.
A waveform
in there. So like think like, I don't know, Excel, and you've got like column A through E, and then 1 through 5, and each one of those is a different waveform. And then you can like sweep through all of that, and the sound will like evolve and shit as you go.
Nice.
It's fun.
My fucking head just exploded, dude.
Yeah.
Trying to visualize that. Like I don't understand. Like what is like VCA on a synth, or is it?
I mean, most like on a keyboard, it's not actually voltage controlled.
Is that what it stands for?
Yeah, it's voltage controlled amplifier. So it's like you have your amp and you have your volume knob. And you can send a voltage to it to automate turning the volume knob up and down.
The voltage? Jesus Christ.
Voltage control.
You send electricity to it, and then it opens it up, and then it closes it with electricity.
All right.
It's magic.
Can you walk me through your setup a little bit? Like, are you inputting via MIDI and triggering samples? Is that kind of how you normally set up? Or are you like generating tone at the time?
A little bit of both. It's like a hybrid thing.
All right.
So,
Nice.
So like the modular rig.
That means you're really warm.
Yeah, so like the modular rig, it's all like, let's say I want to get a synth voice. I have a tone generator as an oscillator. I take volt per octave, which is just a voltage from like 0 to 5 volts, and each volt is an octave.
Okay.
Right. And so like everything in between is your semitones, your steps up the keyboard. That goes into the corresponding input on the oscillator to change the pitch. And then you take the output, like the audio output of the oscillator, you either run it into a filter or a VCA, and the VCA is just a gate. That's all it is. So, and then you send voltage to other things, envelopes or whatever, to open that gate and close it at different rates.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What is let me back it up a little bit. I know this is nerdy shit, but I want to know what exactly is the oscillator?
It's just a tone generator. So like it's the core of the synthesis though. So like
which
analog oscillators are just like your basic waveforms. Like
so the oscillation is like, they call it an oscillator. It's the waveform. So that's what, like a sine wave or a that's the oscillation is that movement.
Yeah, and so like correct? The analog ones have different shapes. So you have like sine and triangle, saw and square. And then like the Mini Moog is just 3 of those oscillators, and then like the third one you can use to modulate the other one.
Okay, so basically each one of those, you say there's 3 of them, so basically you have 3 tones. All right, and then so that's the core of it, and then you add VCAs and filters basically essentially after. And so what is the filter? Is that just EQ essentially?
Yeah. Like low pass filter, high pass filter, band pass, and then like you'll have resonance which is like, cranking the gain on an EQ band. And then it's all just sound shaping. That's all it is.
And then like if you wanted to do like a harmonic drive and shit like that, is that either going to be potentially whatever the synthesizer you're using might have that built in, or you just use your own drives and distortions and shit after the fact? Yeah. All right. I'm backing it up one more time. What does the VCA do? What is the purpose of it? VLA, VCA?
It's just the amplifier. So it's literally like you plug your guitar into an amp and then you turn the volume up so you can hear the guitar. And then you turn the volume up on your guitar and then you hit a string and then the sound comes out because it's being allowed to pass. But because it's voltage controlled, think like a VCA compressor. So a VCA compressor doesn't use lights or whatever the fuck the 1176 uses. It's just when the sound comes in, there's like an envelope follower that says push it down, and it uses electricity into, I don't know, diode or some shit like that.
And also, that's what I'm saying is that those type of compressors also been a mystery to me. That's why I'm asking you, what does this stuff mean? Because like I understand how this
voltage
one works.
Controlled.
Yeah, voltage control just means how it's automated.
Are you up on this?
I'm guessing are you like adjusting the voltage?
Yeah.
Right.
So
but
like,
what does that actually do to the sound? Like, what is the purpose of that?
It lets the sound pass. So like think like a gate, like a noise gate.
Yeah.
So you have a noise gate. The gate's closed, and it's not. It's looking for voltage to tell it to open, and so you send it, say 5 volts, and the gate goes, I have 5 volts, I'm open.
I wish they would just say
through.
it's like a gate then, like, because that I understand, you know?
Yeah.
But like, it
would make more sense.
What are your go-to, basically synthesizers then? Like, what are you using? Like your actual fucking analog units to make the oscillations and stuff, or are you using software and then affecting it all, or is it again all of the above?
It's all of the above. Because I'll create a bunch of sounds on like the modular stuff, and it's because that rack it's got oscillators, it's got filters to like shape the tone and shape the harmonics that I'm getting out of stuff. But then like tons of distortion.
A rack head? You said?
No, the rack. The Euro rack that has all the modules in it. But I've also got like all kinds of delays and reverbs and other shit in there, and it's like running everything through everything else and then sending like other waveforms that are really slow to like move parameters and automate it.
Do you have like a general workflow that you kind of stick to, or is it like really, just whatever the fuck? Like,
I'll get an idea for like an experiment of like what happens if I plug this into this and this and this and do it that way.
Right, which is kind of the fun of it, right?
And but yeah, it's mostly just I pick like a sound source and I'm like, let's start
and
creating a noise.
It's all synced to a click.
Yeah, I usually sync it to clock with like
within your DAW or something, or how
usually on the MPC. So I'll send MIDI clock out of my MPC, and then that goes through some other stuff, and then I can patch that into different places.
Okay, I guess that thing's a lot more like powerful. It's like this, but larger.
Yes,
right. Like I mean, it's literally like the same company and shit or whatever, right? So why is that such a core piece of your? Even in the recording studio, seems to be
because it's a sequencer that I can use without a computer. I mean, that's the whole point of the whole rig is like I want to turn on a bunch of devices and make sounds, and not have to sit and go clicky clicky click.
Gotcha.
But I still end up sitting down and like clicking through shit and making
So do you have actual sequencers and shit that like run a program of whatever?
Yeah, I mean the MPC is. I can sequence everything with that, but then I've got like my Arturia Mini Brute synthesizer as a sequencer in that has multiple channels, and then
talking about the Mini Brute,
I got a bunch of other stuff that I can use for sequencing.
What percentage of your studio rig do you say is like analog?
I mean, sound generators, not that much, actually. I got a lot of digital oscillators and stuff. So, 30%.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame. No.
I mean, technically, it's all analog.
He's got his fucking, his shit, it's a room that's kind of like this, but bigger. And just like one side is just all the fucking crazy rack shit. And the other side is like some boards stacked up. And there's a lot of... all right, so I'm gonna switch gears a little bit here. Is what's your go-to software then? Is there like particular like synth software you like to use? Like I'm a Reason guy, as you know. I love Reason.
Yeah, I love Reason too. Arturia Pigments I really like. It's just like I need something that I can do a wide range of stuff that has a lot of different options in it.
And what does that mean? What's that do?
Pigments it's got a bunch of different synth engines in it, so it does like regular analog style shit, and it's kind of like Arturia took everything from their V collection of recreating all these classic synthesizers and like cannibalized a bunch of tech out of it and threw it into one box and said, here you go, here's everything and a little more. But it's got nice effects in it. It's just a good all around synth to do anything with.
Right. Any other standouts?
Generate by Newfangled Audio is really fucking cool, and a lot of people don't know about it. It's I don't know, it's like a really bizarre synthesis type that for like the sound generators, this guy like programmed all these weird ass algorithms. It's some dude that he still works for Eventide, and then he started his own side business like making plugins that he wanted to make. But it's a weird synthesizer, and you get a lot of really cool modular type sounds out of it, and it's got one of the best fucking reverbs I've ever heard, and he won't put that in a separate plugin yet. Maybe one day.
Okay. Yeah, well, and then what are your go-to distortions nowadays? Because that's been something I've really been focusing on in my own recordings and shit, is like what I'm really trying to dial in and understand how I'm using distortion,
I'm really into the it's like Arturia's Dist Cold Fire that they just released.
So you keep talking about this company.
I am a huge Arturia fanboy.
Obviously,
they're a French company that they started off making.
It's got to be French.
Yeah. Well,
I'm a real producer.
It's the only good thing in France, I guess. I don't know.
He likes the French stuff. He likes the Scottish repair shops.
But yeah, they started off making clones of. I think their first thing was a clone of the Mini Moog. and it was okay at the time, like 20 years ago or whatever. But then eventually they started making like MIDI controllers, and then they branched out into hardware synths, and so they make everything now, and all of it is fucking top notch.
Nice. Well, we're looking for another soundboard to trigger our absolutely terrible sound clips. So, I might have to invest in something. And then, like, are you? Sorry, I'm getting but hey, this show's about a studio a little bit here too.
Yeah.
Are you like distorting stuff all on one track, or do you use like subtracks and use distortion and shit there and then blend them together?
Depends on what it is.
Okay, so it's just a free for all too, kind of like have a preferred method.
Yeah, it really depends on the instrument, depends on or whatever the source audio is. Like bass guitar is nice to split it out and have like a clean track, and then like a distorted
get
fuzzy
that solid
track.
bass.
Yeah.
Or
like vocals, you don't necessarily want to have all distorted vocals. You need like a clean vocal to bring the sibilance back in, because the distortion kills the sibilance.
Is that how you mix vocals a lot of the time though? Is you would do like that fucking subtracks of different distortions and shit and blend it in and stuff like that, or like what do they call it? Parallel compressions and stuff. Yeah. Nice. Which I need to like get better at that. Or, I don't know. It's just I'm just fucking lazy.
Yeah, I mean, distortion took me a long time to figure out how to use it effectively, because it's so less is more, and you always want to be like, 11, and you want like 3, and then you want to play around with pushing the audio into it at different gain stages, like work the dynamics on it, like using the volume knob on your guitar.
Right.
But it's like, and you want to like filter off the top end, but not too much. And it can get really delicate.
Do you have hardware EQs?
No, I don't fuck with that.
Why?
It's just not worth it.
Okay. I agree with you.
Most of the character you can you use a distortion. Well, actually, no, I take that back, because I've got my analog heat box, and that's got a Baxandal style EQ in it that I use on like everything for high and low end. But that's about it. I mean, most of like the harmonic content you'd want to get to like make things pop is just saturation, and you don't need an EQ for that.
I agree. As I'm sure you've probably figured out, that's also my general fucking thought on all that too. And because of the way that I work usually is I'm more on the like artist side of it, and I try intentionally not to mix my own stuff in the final mix or whatever when I can, and you're mixing it is I'm trying to not use EQ at all. I don't even want to touch I don't want EQ coming into the picture until the mix, and I'll let a mixer decide that. But I'm trying to get the best tones now, just across the board, and just not. I don't even want to fuck with EQ. So like, I don't know. That's more of like a tracking and production, which is that's more my world,
Oh, that's still nothing beats that, getting the best source audio you can work with.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Right. But I can't even pretend that I'm even great with EQ. Honestly,
Yeah,
like
I don't know. I don't have any like nuggets of wisdom about EQ to share.
I don't know. Everybody's always like, like EQ is your number one tool for shaping audio and stuff. And I'm like, is it? I don't really use that much of it. Yeah. Like, and I'm sure like people will be like, yeah, your recording sucks. So, okay, fair. But like, I don't know. I find that I don't know, man.
I think, well, like the most used plugin I use is the stock EQ in Studio One, because I need to roll off the high end, or I need to roll off the low end, or whatever.
It's just simple cuts and stuff that
it's just simple cuts. Yeah. It's not like crazy shit like when you see the picture of Fab Filter and it's all fucking
it's like
ripped apart.
I'm kind of like, well, if you're trying to do that, like, okay, maybe you're being creative, but maybe you're just recording stinks.
And nobody's doing that. It's like people can. It's true that EQ is your number one tone shaping thing, but it's kind of like shoes are your number one thing to put on your feet. It's really boring and you don't think about it because it's just basic shit.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. Is am I missing the most basic shit? And
I don't think so.
All right, and then so what I've been doing now a lot more lately is just throwing on a high and low pass filter on everything, and then
don't do that.
No, and then just tucking stuff in where I want it to be a little bit, almost. You get what I'm saying? Because I find because again, I'm not trying to mix that so much of my stuff. I leave all that high end in, so there's a lot of fizz and stuff, like this. Because all that fucking high end information is just there, So I'm thinking now, well, maybe I need to start just subtly, just kind of tucking in the high and low and just positioning the bulk of the tone where I want it to be.
Yeah, pretty much. You'd probably get into tilt EQ. Tilt EQ's fun for that too, without having to totally cut off the top or the bottom, because it's where you pick a center frequency, and then if you turn it up one way, then the high goes up, but the lows at the crossover point go down proportionally.
Oh, okay.
And vice versa. So that I use that a lot too, where I'm I just need the upper half of the frequency range on this track to be a little louder, and I turn that up.
Yeah.
I guess that was my big aha moment, was realizing the EQ is just a band-dependent volume knob, and that's all it's doing is just turning the volume up or down.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yep.
And then you start looking at it as well, I don't want to push the fader up more. I just want to turn this part up more.
Yeah.
And then it's good.
Yeah.
And then the one last thing I really wanted to ask you about was, what is your thoughts on just gain staging in general? Do you have a philosophy on that? Are you trying to leave a lot of headroom? Or, what? I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I usually try to leave around 3 dB of headroom on the mix bus, on the master fader.
Okay.
But I end up with a combination of, because the way that all the technology on these DAWs works is if you've got a modern audio workstation program and it's got a 64-bit mix bus, there's essentially infinite headroom on every channel going into the mix bus, and so you just turn the master fader down, and it doesn't matter how loud everything else is hitting it as long as that doesn't hit 0. But so I'll use a combination of I turn everything down. I'll take every channel, all the tracks we got for Uncertain Times, I'll take every channel and turn it down to -10, and then I'll start bringing things up a little bit. But then I'll also have a plug-in with an input volume control on my master bus that if it starts peaking, I'll turn that back a little bit too, because I like where things are at. I just need it all to come down a little bit.
Okay. Because I think I probably leave everything too hot in general, and I'm just trying to get that volume off the bat.
Yeah, I guess we use the slate plugins, right?
For some, yeah, some of those, do, but not all of it. Yeah.
There's a lot that do the same thing. It's a lot of the analog modeled stuff. You really got to pay attention to the input meter and not have that clip, because they're designed to take a certain level of input to try and be analog gear or whatever. So you don't want to hit it with the loudest pop. You don't want to normalize all your tracks and then send it into the slate plugins, because it'll just. Don't
you feel like that's the magic of analog gear though? Is hitting it stuff too hard will create those real distortions and shit.
Well, that's the thing I don't get too, because my warm audio bus compressor, that thing I don't want to hear with my ears a signal loud enough that I would have to turn the volume down, because it's distorting the compressor. It has so much fucking headroom going into it. I always have my threshold knob almost all the way turned down just to get 3 or 4 dB of compression.
How much do you rely on master bus processing?
A lot.
Yeah,
I mean, not a lot, but it's that's where I start. That's
where you start.
Yeah, I'll get basic levels and pans and stuff like that, and I might do a little, roll off some low end on this, roll off some high end on that. But once things are sort of in an okay place, then I'll start putting EQ and compression, everything on the mix bus.
Really?
And get that where I want it, and then I start to mix into that.
You mix into it, which is I know a lot of mixers that's,
And I'll group everything into sub buses too,
right?
And work those more for EQ
too.
than
the
individual tracks. Like I try to leave the individual tracks alone unless there's a problem.
Do you have any analog compression compressors on your mix bus, or do you have like a sweet rack unit or anything you're using?
Yeah, I've got the Warm Audio bus compressor.
Oh
and I pretty much run everything out through the bus comp first, and that's the nice thing about the analog compressors. You can hit them a lot harder than software compressors.
I know,
and
so it gives it that fucking
that
loudness that's not like bad distortion or something.
Yeah, so I run everything through that, and then that runs out into the Electron analog heat, which is at this point like, I don't know, it's like a poor man's something that's higher end thing, like the SSL Fusion. Like
that
I can't
analog
afford that,
heat.
but,
yeah.
But I always have it set to like a tape saturation circuit that just does like real subtle saturation, and then there's and I'll like do some boosts and stuff with the filter and everything. The nice thing with that too is there's like a filter dirt parameter that you can turn up that like kind of drives the filter a little bit. Yeah. But it's cool because it like pushes the mid range, like the center, a little.
Nice.
It's nice on vocals.
So if you could go in either direction at this point, or whatever you intend to do with your studio, are you intending to invest more in analog equipment, or do you think software is where you would like put your money right now?
I have too much software. I don't want to buy more software.
Yeah.
I'm gonna spend money to upgrade the things that I have, and
don't you feel like the fucking analog
else.
gear and all this rack shit that you got? I mean, you're buying it like for a reason. Doesn't it just feel?
It is more fun to play with.
And it sounds better, right? And you can control, like, software is amazing, and I use tons of it, and I'm not shitting on software, but like, that's the best tool for the price. But like, man, if you can get real shit,
there's something about recording like something on like my modular rig into my computer where I could probably use some plugins I have and get a similar sound, but the recording sits better in a mix just right away. Whereas all of the plugins, all the soft synths are like way too hot or like too
I know they're always way
too.
And actually, I feel like that's one thing Reason does right is they were like way quieter than just with these other fucking standalone software. It'd be like, whoa, it's way louder. And I wanted to say too, that's what I always felt about when I started getting real fucking mic pre's, dude.
Yeah,
was when like you almost like don't hear it when it's on its own, but it's like when you start stacking up the tracks, they like it retains that clarity and fullness and stuff. Where like on real cheap mic pre's, it kind of like slushes together,
turns into cheesecloth.
Yeah.
Like those old Mackie mixers, the old 24 channel ones. It's like you get, I don't know, dozen tracks through that recorded into Pro Tools, and everything's just kind of mud.
Yes. Yeah. So I always I'm like, that's if I could do it all over again, and that's what I did when I did it all over again, was focus on nice pieces of real gear, nice microphones, like just have one killer microphone and a couple, and I got some nice pieces, but if you could just do it, just get one great microphone, one great mic pre, one great compressor, like instead of having like being all over the place and spending all your money on fucking plugins and shit that you are all just not doing anything but looking cool. Half of it's the fucking interface, design and shit.
But even now there's so like, I know people hate subscriptions, but fuck man, I would have killed to have any one of the subscriptions that exist today.
Agreed.
20 years ago.
I know. I'm talking shit because I'm lucky and I can't afford some shit. But I know.
Like it's really cheap and easy to get all the plugins you'd ever need.
And I rely the hell out of plugins, so I can't talk too much shit. But I'm just saying, like, there's been because of computer processing, there's been a push on investing into back-end equipment rather than investing into front-end equipment, just making the actual recording as good as you can, and they got to have the latest plug-in, and it's
no plug-in
the
is going to make
EQ that comes with the software is
there's no plug-in that's going to make your shitty mic sound good.
Exactly. Yeah.
There you go.
All right, so I before we wrap it up here, I did want to ask you too, what are you fucking playing for guitars nowadays, dude?
Well, I'm really getting the PRS lately.
Yeah.
The Paul Reed Smith.
I know.
A big fan. Haven't played him a lot.
No. Oh, really? Well,
Yeah.
Our friends Jake vs. Jake was here, and he is obviously many people are PRS fans, but he's Jake. The other Jake is huge PRS guy, and he's got the bird inlays tattooed up his arm.
Nice.
It's a pretty dope tattoo, because it goes all the way up, like spaced out exactly. Like, it's rad.
Yeah.
So what were you playing before PRS then?
I played Schecter's before that in my last heavy metal band.
Well, that's a no-brainer then.
Yeah.
You're doing the right move.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what do you like about the PRSs then?
The wide, thin neck. It's very comfortable.
The neck is nice, right?
Yeah.
Are you playing them? Do they have the tremolo on them and stuff like?
I actually prefer the hardtails.
Well, me too, and that's always been my big problem with PRS guitars and why I don't really like them. And I know they have a couple hardtails and whatever, but it's generally speaking, they have PRS is really supposed to be the perfect blend of a Strat and a Les Paul. I mean, and it really is.
A lot of them are. Yeah,
and I mean, that's why so
absolutely.
many players play them, is because it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
But I gotta have a fucking hardtail bridge for intonation. Not that you can't, and I do intonate my shit on my other guitars, but it's the pick muting. And for what I do on playing heavy metal,
you're really
rhythm
aggressively
guitar,
brutal picking, absolutely
all down picking.
Yeah.
Heavy gauge strings.
That's the school of Metallica coming back,
That's what I do. I'm literally talking about playing on my white Explorer right now.
Exactly.
Like I play Metallica riffs.
The same way you'd bash on a Les Paul,
Yeah, and well, that's my main guitar is the Les Paul. So it's, I don't know. For pick muting, like I just couldn't. Like I've never been able to get into PRS for that. I also, it's gonna sound crazy, but I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I don't care for the bird inlays on the guitar.
I agree.
Okay?
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
I agree.
Thank you. Give me something simpler, a dot or a block or something.
They do the moon thing now. You ever seen that?
The moon's cool. I don't want that either. I don't want anything.
It looks like a dot, though, from far away. And then you get up on it, and you can see the dot has a little split in it.
Who was the guy that had the bat inlays?
That was, that's the Paul Allender model.
Yeah. That was pretty cool for him to be like,
cool
let's make a bats instead.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't know, there's something about when you do like a graphic or something, it's like limiting to the instrument to me. You're like making a statement.
Yeah, it's tacky.
Yes, it can have, and it's like, I don't know. It's never been my favorite. I prefer them with the fucking, I mean, nothing to me is classier than the Gibson. And Gibson's got a lot of issues with them being too expensive, and there's been quality issues and stuff.
Yes.
I agree. I understand.
Yep.
But I've played a lot of guitars. Nothing fucking does it for me like the fucking real Gibsons, dude.
Yeah, the Les Pauls, man. That's where it's at.
They're just classy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm a Gibson man, and I want to get another one, but like even nowadays, dude.
Yeah. Well, our lead guitar player in Be Kind Rewind, the '90s band, he actually knows a guy who works at Gibson's, and he got some killer deals on some '59 reissues, I think.
Oh.
And man, they are sweet.
All right, if you know a guy, why don't you fucking just send me some contact info here?
My people
I know
will
a guy
call
who knows a guy. Yeah, a couple fell off the back of the truck over there.
That's right. Yeah, my people will call your people.
Do you hear about that shit? They stole that fucking truckload of the Adam Jones Les Paul.
Dude. Yeah.
Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yep. That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So if you need one, hit me up.
For sure.
Yeah, I want to buy. He just put out the fucking the Les Paul standard, his standard, the Adam Jones.
That's right.
Standard.
Yeah, I saw
Still a pretty penny to get one.
It is,
but it's a little more. And I'm like, I don't even play the guitars I have.
Yeah,
I have many guitars.
Yeah,
I don't need another one.
Yeah,
even though I want that guitar so bad.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it's a problem for
and
me
then
too.
What are you doing for amps?
Well, right now, let's see. Well, I've been playing a lot of bass actually lately.
Oh, okay.
I got rid of a lot of guitar stuff, and the old stuff I got sitting around is like it's a PV Valve King 100-watt head. Just kind of it was my backup amp, main amp in my first heavy band. But anyway, so
wait, that's a guitar amp or your bass amp?
That's a guitar amp.
Okay, I don't know that.
Valve King. Yeah, it was not one of their. It's a PV Valve King.
Yeah,
but I play Ampeg bass amp.
Yeah,
right now at all my bar gigs. I'm primarily a bass player around town, so I haven't played guitar.
Don't advertise that.
Well, I'm proud of the bass playing I do.
No, I'm sure you're very good at it. Yeah, picking up all the ladies. You know, I'm known more as a bass player around town.
Right. Actually, that's right. Yeah. It's true. It's true though.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you fucking around with the modelers and stuff?
Nah, not really, man. I do prefer the tube amps.
Right?
Yeah.
Indeed.
Absolutely. Indeed. They really light up a room.
You got gigs coming up then?
Yeah, man. Pretty much every weekend. Scattered all around Lansing.
Are you just doing the covers and shit? What?
Mostly. Yeah.
Mostly Maneater? What?
No, definitely not. So I got the 90s band Be Kind Rewind.
Yeah, what kind of tunes you playing?
We play all, like, basically if you have XM radio and you turned on the Lithium station, the 90s grunge and alternative station.
Oh, okay.
Or if you asked Alexa to play 90s grunge and alternative, that would basically be our song list, like dead on.
Nice. Nirvana.
Yeah, Nirvana.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you got going on there? You got some fucking new releases coming out?
No,
or just come out? Oh, I thought there was.
I mixed and mastered a EP for industrial project called Cari.
Yeah.
Dude out of Norway that I do another band with called Sever the Servants.
Yeah, I didn't know he was in Norway.
Yeah, he's in Norway.
Hyde.
Yeah. He's one of the artists on Bandcamp from the Kingdom of Norway. It sounds all superficial.
Oh my god,
they list it that way.
He plays some pretty fucking killer synth shit, some dark shit, man.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of nice modular gear.
So what's out? What just came out?
It's an EP called Blood and Diamonds by Cari, and I mixed and mastered it, and songs are good. It's kind of like Manson vibes, but it's more like straightforward songwriting from what he's done in the past.
Nice.
But it sounds really fucking good. I did a good job on it.
Yeah, I'm awesome. It was great. All right, fellas. I think we're gonna wrap it up. Appreciate you guys coming out. It's great talking to you. I love
fun
getting into
yeah, thanks for having us out, man.
Yeah, all right. Peace.
Deuces.